Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are fortunately back in Monster 3 Ultimate, but we're going to have to do a little bit of waiting around. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I joined a room where, quite unusually, the host had been left behind, and the remaining two people in the room had obviously since departed on a quest and were in the process of hunting. Now, I don't know how long ago they departed. What I can say is that I've been sitting in this room for maybe around 7 minutes, possibly approaching 10 minutes. I don't know, it's hard to actually gauge. But yeah, it's been a little while. I can only imagine that they will return soon. What I decided to do in the meantime was pour some tea for myself. Now, you guys probably haven't seen me consume tea on camera. It has been a while since I last did it, and I don't do it especially often either. One thing that does bother me is to achieve appropriate lighting, right? It does have to be pretty bright, and most of my bone china is also white, and so you'll see what I mean. You know, you can't really see much of this because it's fucking blindingly white. But I can assure you that in person it's not this white, but anyway. I'll pour myself some tea and let it sit, because I don't like my tea to be piping hot. Oh dear, hadn't really considered this. There's not enough space to leave it. Well, that's quite alright, I'll just move the pot and then find a better space. It seems that they're done with the quest, which coincides well with what I suppose you would call the introduction to this video. Yes, I just called it a video, not a live stream. Depends on whether you're watching the VOD or something else. The something else, of course, being the live stream as it's live. It can be only one of two things, really, and it can also be both. There's no reason why a person can't watch back the VOD after having seen it live. Shit. Try and open my chat. But yeah, I don't have any beer, wine, or spirits today, so tea will have to suffice. And that's okay. I drink white tea. Actual white tea, as opposed to what people in some cultures refer to black tea with milk. And, well, I can't remember if I actually phrased that sentence properly. Some people do use the term to refer to black tea with milk, or just any tea with milk, really. But usually if you were to add milk to tea, it would be black tea. But this is actual white tea leaves. And yeah, it's good. It's the kind of tea that I enjoy. There are various reasons why I drink it. The primary reason being that it doesn't stain the cup as much, and it furthermore doesn't stain your teeth as much. People who drink copious amounts of tea will have stained teeth. You wonder why people from England don't have the nicest teeth. Well, I suppose people in Britain. I'd say it would be no doubt linked to the excessive consumption of tea. But anyway, that's just a theory. I hadn't even really thought about it. Hello. It says Arturo, and I have responded with my own hello. I don't know if Chauchon, I don't know how to pronounce that name. It could actually be French, because as I read it, Chauchon, it sounds a little bit French. Perhaps exceedingly French. I can't imagine what other language it would be other than French, particularly given that we're playing 3 Ultimate right now. It has to be said that the French community of 3 Ultimate really has disappeared. I think they moved to 4 Ultimate, and then they must have gone somewhere else after that, because there was a time when the dominant language spoken outside of English in this game was French. And it wasn't easy to play with the French players, let me tell you, because for some reason they were almost invariably terrible at the game. And I still to this day don't understand why. I don't know why they were so bad at playing Monster Hunter. It still doesn't make any sense to me how one culture could be so collectively incapable of playing Monster Hunter. And I was further advised by viewers when I last explained this that it's not just Monster Hunter, but whatever. I don't know what would impede an entire culture's ability to play video games. That doesn't make any sense at all. It does not logically make sense, but the evidence is there by way of my experience and seemingly by way of the experience of others, also outside of Monster Hunter. But yeah, the departure of the French players didn't actually improve the general skill of the player base, because in replacing the French players arrived people who hadn't played Monster Hunter properly before, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good for them to make a proper start in a game like this. This is a very respectable Monster Hunter game to start in. But it does make it a little bit hard when they get carried to the end game and literally cannot perform up to standard. And a standard is present when you're in the end game. End game implies that you've gone through the game to get to this point, and you've learnt something along the way. But unfortunately, very few people do these days in this community, and it's a shame. I don't like it, but it is the reality of the situation. Let's hope that my tea is at an appropriate temperature. Yeah, I'd say that's appropriate. I will have more, therefore. Just a tiny little sip was all I needed, apparently. No, I'll take a little bit more. I can smoke? Asks Sidor. After having left us waiting here for so long, you have the oh, great. This is one way for things to just fucking collapse. Arturo has to leave. Sidor wants to go and have a smoke. So it looks like it's just you and me again, Shoshon. It's fucking standing here waiting for these people to actually hunt with us. It's terrible. Lord okay? I think he's asking if I'm okay with him going for a smoke. The answer is no. I'm just gonna say that. It's his decision. Oh, it's Tavo's show! Wow. It's good to see him. I was with him when he got his final gold crown of the game a number of months ago, and I have a distinct feeling that I've been playing with him since the game came out. He's just got a recognizable name. He's got a familiar name. Hey, Tabo. Presumably, he'd remember me too. It's not a huge community. But yeah, Tavo has saved the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like I was expecting to play with him. He just turned up while I was live. And just as well, because we might have to depart on a quest without Sidor. I would be perfectly happy to do a 3-man quest without Sidor, so that he can go and engage in his nicotine habit. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to have to sit here waiting for him to partake in that while live, waiting for, you know, a fucking group to play Monster Hunter with. So there you go. Well, let's call him Shaw. Because quite frankly, I'm not going to spell out the whole name. I don't have enough characters available. I think it's 32 characters. If you want, you can choice, I have been told by Sidor. Is he referring to me specifically? Maybe they're friends. I suppose they're friends. A quest to 2. Which I suppose in having said that, he means I can choose 1 or 2 quests. Once again, I did ask the question of Shoal, but Sidor answered, so I'm guessing he answered for Shoal, which would furthermore suggest that they are friends. But anyway. What would be fun? This looks fun. Or did we recently do this? No, it was a similar quest to this, but it wasn't this one. Let's do this one. Oh, what? Shoshan's sleep? Are you sure? He was just moving before. Hold on, how do I spell his name? Shoshan? This is my point of confusion. Either Sidor means that Shoshan is currently asleep, or he means that Shoshan is about to go to sleep. Now, if Shoshan's about to go to sleep, it means he's going to close the room, which means we have to clear out of here and make another room. But unfortunately, Sidor's communicative abilities are so, I don't know, limited, that I'm really unsure as to which of the 2 scenarios is currently playing out. Which is fine, it's not his fault. But makes it a bit harder for me to do anything. I'll just post the quest and go from there, I suppose. Hey Koroku, good to see you. The common element here would be fire, so I'll equip a fire weapon. You know what I'll do? I'll keep with Awakened Greatsword, but I will use an Awakened Fire Greatsword that I don't usually use. That would be Red Naught. Okay, I'm usually using the Anima Reaper. I will use this for once in my life, okay? Excuse me, but... people who are asleep do not slowly and deliberately move their characters around. You know, this wasn't a case of the controller falling on the ground for one reason or another. This was not an example of, you know, maybe a hand jerking on the controller in sleep. It's my girlfriend. Well, apparently I know more about her than you at this stage, because she's moving around deliberately. Like, she'll do this. This is not something that you do while asleep. Like, I've watched her move her character like 3 times since you arrived from your, or returned from your previous quest. Now, again, if she's going to sleep, that's fine. If she's, it's me move for her. Okay, well, what were you achieving with that? Let's make a new room then. Come on, man. Let's just make a new room. Better to have 4, not just for us, but for the community. You know, I'm not going to have one spot in the room being taken up by someone who's literally asleep in a community where there is very little opportunity for people to hunt with others, okay? That's just illogical. So if we could maybe make another room. Does he understand what I mean when I say make a new room? Not only in what I've physically written in English, but also the meaning behind it. He seems to be struggling with it. All I need is an okay. Tavo will probably follow me if I leave anyway, but... What are you no, you can't. You're missing the point. Okay, in the first instance, you can't hunt with 2 people. Clearly I don't want that. I've already suggested that we make a new room. I clearly don't want you to fucking depart on the quest with Shoshon. Like, what precisely is that going to achieve? But no side or why would that make a difference? Are you functionally retarded? Like, that would make no difference, my friend. Whether you depart on the quest as Sidor or you depart on the quest as Shoshon, that is not going to change a thing. We're still going to be hunting with 3 people, 4 slots in the room are going to be taken up, and the community is going to suffer as a result of your rather illogical assessment of the situation. You know, I haven't explained everything of what I've said here in text, but it's all fairly simple to understand. You know, this is not some esoteric, obscure school of knowledge, okay? This is the reality of life, you know, common sense. Can we make a new room? I want... So a 4th can join. Again, it's not just because I want to hunt with 4 people, it's for the benefit of the community. He has agreed. Okay, I will go and make a room, Tavo will follow me, that's it. Like, what the fuck? Why would... It's like drawing blood from a stone, for fuck's sake. G rank. Now, just join my damn room, don't join someone else's. There are as many as 18 people right now. Relaxed hunting. If there are as many as 18 people on, there is a risk that he'll fuck off somewhere else. But I do think that Tavo will join me. Because he knows me. And he hasn't had a bad hunt with me yet. So Tavo's here. Let's see if Sidor can make it back in. I'm not all that desperate to hunt with the guy because upon my suggestion of making a new room so that we can hunt with 4 people, he recommended that he use his girlfriend's character to depart on the quest with us. Which is so outside of the realms of sensible responses to what I suggested. That, you know, it worries me. I don't know if I want to hunt with him. What's he going to do in the quest? Anyway. Fucking hell. Yeah, Tavo's still hanging around. Good to see you, Vernon, and thanks for the resub. Yes, I can send you an invite. Hey, Spaceman, I'm glad you made it in. You didn't make it last weekend, unfortunately. Admittedly, one of those weekend days was what would have been Friday evening for you, so I suppose you can't be held to account on that. I'll get a link and send it in. Just for anyone who is unfamiliar with this point, I do have a personal Discord that I use as Doomlink, where I essentially send notifications for imminent live streams, and yeah, it's basically a place that you go if you really want to, if you really care about my stuff. If you watch me regularly and you want to be there, then the link is there for you to click on. But I don't put it out publicly for literally anyone to click and join, because that is not how you establish a good community. You know, some people may not understand this, but if you just have the link that's there for anyone to click, there's no filter. It's just literally anyone who happens to be on your page will click it, and then you've just got random people hanging around. It's dumb, you know. I want to know the people who are in the Discord, and I, you know, want to have the reassurance that they actually watch and enjoy my stuff. Anyway, I don't keep it so closely abreast that I'm going to individually filter people, but again, this measure is enough of a filtering process on its own. Alright, I'll go and create an invite link if I can find out how to do that on mobile. I'm sure I can achieve that all on my own, like a big boy. Invite members, here we go. Yes, I'll send a link to a friend, invite copied. Apparently you're all my friends now. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Vernon. Come on, send message. Disconnected from chat. You know, I don't have much respect for the mobile stream manager on Twitch. It's honestly bad. It's just fucking shit. Alright, mobile stream manager, thank you. Reconnect to the goddamn channel. Let me type in it, thank you. I mean, imagine literally just going to a different application on your phone, returning to the application, and first of all, the chat disconnects entirely, and then second of all, you can't even type in the text box. That's pretty special. Anyway. Fucking Twitch. It barely functions on a PC anyway. Well, no, that's unfair. There are certain things that I don't like about Twitch on PC, but it functions. It's YouTube that doesn't function on a PC, mobile, or any device. Because it's designed by monkeys. What are you doing? What are you doing now? Are you a joke? You wait me. Oh, you're going for a smoke. I thought, you know, the enigmatic side door was going to do something else that was difficult. Now he's telling me to go. I mean, this is, thank you. I really needed that extra push. Go, I smoke, he says. Well, thank you. It's as if I hadn't already made up my mind. And it is as if I hadn't already explained what I was going to be doing. Anyway, aside from that, this guy's rather entertaining. Makes me want to see what the girl's like. She's probably, you know, borderline retarded. I suppose it's good of him to bring another person into the community, but anyway. Now, what am I doing with myself? It is Ludroth, Nagakuga, and Lagia Cruz. Just keep in mind that the link that I sent will not automatically bring you into the community. I will have to add you to it manually. I'll have to give you a role to be able to see all of the channels and type in them. Which I will do, if not at some point during this live stream, then certainly by the end of it. Or at the end of it. By the end of it suggests that it will take place during the stream. But, oh god, why are my speakers so loud again? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Why is this monster so poor in its connection? Which is a weird way to describe that, but it's sort of glitching around a bit. Now it's a little bit better. Maybe there was just a... Well, I suppose it's inconsistent, isn't it? Someone's got weird ping here, that's all I can say. Look at this, this is not great. Must be Necros. I don't think I've had this issue with Tabo before. Anyway. I'll have to lower the volume of my speakers. I hate making just tiny adjustments to these speakers and then they just end up being too loud. Stupid. I didn't want them to be excessively quiet. Oh, this is awful. Look at this. Hopefully the next monster will be better. Ah! Well, Tavo's going to get blown up. Presumably. Maybe not. I did see, however, that the bomb went off on the Ludroth, which is nice. Fairly insignificant damage, but it's better than nothing, isn't it? But quests like these are a good opportunity to fight Royal Ludroth. You wouldn't really want to fight a Royal Ludroth on his own. He would admittedly have more health, but it still wouldn't be substantial enough on its own. So it's good to have a quest where you're hunting Ludroth as one of multiple monsters. I say that because otherwise you just wouldn't do Ludroth on his own. He's not worth it. I'm going to top up my tea. Which must indeed be done between now and the next time. Be good if I could position these things a little better. I'm awkwardly reaching. I need to give greater consideration to where I position myself in relation to the places where I'm going to be leaving things that must be indeed grabbed by my hand, and which sits at the end of my arm, which must indeed be extended to the object in question. Where's the beer? Well, it's nowhere to be seen today. It's tea time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm dragging on the hunt by pouring tea. Unfortunately, you can't see much of the teapot because the lighting is so bright that it illuminates the white pot so much. Can't really see the full detail of it, but I can always send a picture on my Discord to give you a better idea as to how it looks in person. He's probably going to continue with an attack there. Perhaps not. It was technically an attack, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't one of his forward advance. Whoops, that's not what I wanted at all. I should really seek to improve my positioning during paralyses, because that was just bad. Whoops. Don't need to get hit by that tail. You can see that he's sliding around there. I don't know what's going on. Why is the connectivity so poor when I'm not only hosting the room, but also the quest itself? I suppose there's a degree of lag compensation going on to accommodate at least one person in this room who has terrible connectivity, and it's just causing the whole quest to look like shit. All it takes is one European sometimes, and it's not because, you know, there's a problem with Europeans. Well, there is. It's to do with where they are geographically located in relation to myself, which is almost as far away as possible, and it's bad. The thing is, it's only gotten better. Should have seen it in the past. And the true irony of it was that those of us in Australia with our rather terrible internet connections had to connect with the people who were furthest away from us, because as PAL gamers here in Australia, we were usually grouped with the Europeans. So, yeah, not great. You wonder why we're so angry. It's because we had to put up with that shit for so long. And we still put up with it. Although, not really, you don't have that same sort of region locking anymore. PAL versus NTSC. But I still play those games. Just not multiplayer, I suppose. You can see that for the most part I'm going for level 2 charges. I go for the level 3 when I know I'm going to get it off, like in situations such as these. And the reality is that with Greatsword it's better to get off less damage than no damage. That is the beauty of the weapon type. It's learning the principle of that. Ragiakurus will be in area 11. Well, when I say will be, I didn't mean that he will be here once I'm there. He will arrive here. There's an Epioth down there. But I'm going to leave him alone. And people who know precisely where to place bombs for Lagiakrus appearing, it's pretty fucking impressive, because if you think about it, your perspective underwater is fucked up already. You've got no real good point of reference as for positioning, but there are people who can place the bombs precisely where Laggy will appear. You have to understand, you've also got depth here as well, and it's pretty crazy to be able to do that. I'm standing roughly where he's going to appear, but... well, standing. Swimming, more like. Let's try to make use of this trap quickly, because I don't want to squander the effectiveness of the trap by immediately having the monster be paralyzed in it. So the sooner we can get the monster in the trap, the better. We have to either get the monster in the trap quickly, or hold off on using the trap until the first paralysis takes place, and it's starting to look like the latter will need to be achieved, because, or sought after, because they do not seem very interested in the trap. The guy who placed the trap doesn't seem very interested in fact. Interested in it, in fact. There we go, that's how we conduct English conversation. Are we really going to do this? Okay, well, as long as it doesn't waste the trap. Seriously. We'll be able to see when he becomes paralyzed by the trap. Okay, well, fortunately the paralysis didn't go off, which I'm happy to see. I'm going to position myself, and this is the nature of underwater combat. See that level of accuracy when it comes to positioning? I decided to position myself where the elemental weak point is. But yeah, what you just witnessed there is essentially the beauty of underwater combat, if there is such a thing. It's one of the very few benefits to it over land combat. But having said that, you do still feel less mobile, less capable of evading the monster when you're down here, and I suppose the chief factor at play in developing that perception as the hunter would be the fact that you can't actually dive. There is no invincibility period given when you do this. So you do feel less capable of avoiding the monster. Also, underwater greatsword is quite a challenge. Notably because of the... what am I calling it? The lack of perspective. I did press the button to do a follow-up charge, but whatever. But yeah, your perspective as for where you are in relation to the monster can be confusing. And that's very important when using greatsword. There is also the fact that a monster that's underwater can usually distance themselves from you very quickly and effectively just by moving around normally, not even by specifically trying to do that. And that means that in the time that it may take to charge your greatsword, the monster will just be out of your range. I suppose that's a natural risk of using greatsword in any situation, whether it's on land or underwater, but it is noticeably more frequent in underwater combat that you'll find yourself out of range of the monster. Even when it may appear as if you should be in range. Nice work, we didn't have to chase him into 12. Good hunt. Don't think I need a... oh no, I need 2 mega potions. Oh yeah, and you can't crouch carve underwater, which may make or break it for some people. Alright, Tal and Kodoku have made it into the Discord. There we go. You both now have access. Just keep in mind that conversation is generally not conducted in the welcome channel. That is the... effectively the lobby. You know, that's the place where you go to be assessed as to whether you should be here or not. And it's not like there are exacting standards associated with that. It's just, you know, me making sure you're a viewer and not literally a random person. But, yeah. Has Mr. Sidor returned? Possibly. He's now facing in the direction of the departure area. I don't think he was before. But anyway. As for who posts next, I'm not really concerned. What hunter rank is Necros? 214. Well, he may still have things that he wants to do, so... Tabo is 773. So he doesn't play super frequently. He was still 700 and something when I last saw him. I just take note of that because, you know, I'm not here all the time, but he might be. You know, the fact that I see him semi-frequently might mean that he's here more often than I am. That would stand to reason, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be the case. I'll ask if Necros wants to post. But I don't want to just skip Tabo. You never know, Tabo might want to post. Yeah, so Tabo's now asking if it's a turns room. Which is an appropriate question to ask. To be completely honest, it is my room now that I think about it. Who choice? Who choice indeed? Well, that would be Tavo. He can skip his turn if he wants to. Tavo is shrugging. Well, man. As would be typically the case, it would logically go in order of who joined, because then it goes, you know, from top to bottom in descending order. That would be the sensible way to do it. But I suppose he didn't want to make assumptions. The second coming. Okay. And that would be G-rank Elatrion. Aerobatorium. As for what I would like to use... Are there any fun weapons that I'd like to choose? I suppose I could use Serasymmetry, but I have just used Greatsword, so maybe it would be better to use something else. I don't necessarily want to use Slime because it's almost certain that someone else will be using it. And I don't like having multiple slime weapons on the team, honestly. It's difficult, says Sidor, really now. You're Hunter rank 86, you'll be alright. It's difficult, no, of course it is. Well. It's more challenging compared with some. Apparently he likes it. He likes that it's challenging, well I'm glad, because this is the one that we're doing. And Necros has sought fit to twice inform us that he's changing equipment, which is good of him. Just in case we hadn't seen him say it. What now? Anyway. Maybe Lance? When was the last time I used a fucking Lance? Actually, that's a great idea. No, damn it, I still haven't made that raw Lance. You know, I made the slime one, I made the black Diablo's Lance. I'd like to make the standard Diablo's Lance as well. But I probably need high rank tail casings for that. I don't think I've actually begun upgrading just that. Let's see if there's a starting... Yeah, Diablo's Lance. It's Fusium that I need, that'd be about right. Fucking hell, bloody Fusium ore. The amount of Fusium I've needed is just ridiculous. Like, we're talking 50 Fusium recently. Maybe not 50, maybe... No, it would have been 50 at least, actually, now that I think about it. And now I need more. Fuck off. Who mines that much? Certainly not me. It's just ridiculous. What? Oh, I see. It's not... It only informed me of one Koroku joining, so... Oh no, you are right. Yeah, I'll just remove them. Yeah, I removed that one. Well, I would have liked to have used Raw Lance. That would have been a fun thing that I have not done recently with this monster. Can Elatrion be poisoned? Well, I think he can, but whether or not it's an effective strategy, I don't know. Just Volta, Demolisher, End of Night. I could use End of Night. That sounds like fun. Let's do that. End of Night. I don't think I've actually used this Gunlance yet, so this is a good opportunity. Hold on. Awakened Gunlance. Where the hell is that? Oh no, it's Lance/Gunlance. Not specifically that. I was looking for it underneath the Gunlance. Oh no, I have used this Gunlance before. Once before. And I wasn't able to get off the paralysis before the monster died. Unsurprisingly, it's only 19 true status. Which is pretty bad. And hopefully I'll be able to get... Unless Tabo is also running paralysis. For fuck's sake, so... Slime and paralysis is what's going on here. I just... God, fine. I can contribute in some way to the paralysis, I suppose, but I just wish that I could make a choice that's not in any way compromised by someone else's choice. That was a difficult setup process, and I'm still slightly dissatisfied. But whatever. How's my inventory looking? Fine. I don't know how I'm going to feel about using Gunlance. There's no guarantee that I'll enjoy it. I'll do a lefty paw. How about that? Lefty paw. It's not an official term. Oh yeah, I did say that I would reduce the volume of my speakers. Let me do that right now. And I'm back. Who are we waiting on? Necros, I guess. I guess, I say. It's quite evident that that is the case. He's using the good old 3 ultimate hammer standard for this monster. The old hammer standard used to be Devil Joe hammer. Some people used Elatrion hammer back in Tri, but I think Devil Joe was the better choice, because you could get purple sharpness with the Devil Joe hammer there as well, which ended up beating out the Elatrion hammer. It sort of depended on how you wanted to approach it. But anyway, I'm sure there would be a frequency of sharpening factor involved. And as I recall, it was not possible in Monster Hunter Tri to get Razor Sharp and Sharpness +1. That just was not doable. You certainly couldn't do it by way of decorations, because the decoration of each actually reduced the other while boosting one of them. And no combination of armor pieces, at least that I could work out at the time, did the job. Do we really need smoke bombs to be able to cool drink up one of them? Do you have a strategy in mind? Really? We're running for the wall? Okay. Or are we not? What's happening? What is the plan? Is there some sort of strategy here that I have not been apprised of? They're gathering ballista ammo, I think, but whatever. Thought there was like a fucking strategy being employed. I hate you so much. The fact that you're already flying, that pisses me off a lot. I'm not a fan. I'm keeping my shield up in case there's any wind press. It's alright, we did Morales in the previous 3 Ultimate recordings, so may as well do some Elatrion this time around. Oh, the icicles are following me this time. Where do you land? Over here? Oh, I'm sorry. On my screen you did get your KO damage off though, so I hope that you got it on your screen. Needless to say, that would effectively be lag compensation on his part, because it appeared on my screen, so it will have been dealt to the monster. And that's how lag compensation works. If it would have appeared on someone else's screen but not yours, it still is dealt. I hadn't really considered the fact that I had a hammer guy there. Otherwise I wouldn't have done my Wyvern Fire on the head, because it doesn't matter where it goes, honestly. Unless I were to seek to damage the head with the Wyvern Fire, but I wasn't necessarily going for that even. So I do feel kind of bad, but whatever. I think we will get a paralysis fairly soon. Should be getting close. Ow. Fucking hell. Unfortunately, when I'm right beneath Elatrion there, I can't really see what on earth he's doing. I just see this flailing body above my head. I suppose one would assume that there is danger, so you would take evasive action for that reason, but anyway. He's not paralyzed yet because he was in the air, which is not good for... Oh dear. Speaking of not good. See, now that's a strategy I've not been employing in this generation of Monster Hunter, and that is to use shelling to keep the combo going. I'm sorry if I hit you, Tavo. I'm not going to not apologize for that. Ruining his flow. And I don't know how I may have interrupted his combo there. It might have been right before he was leveling up his gauge, who knows. Whoa. I do need to keep my eyes on the game, otherwise this Elatrion will end up shitting on me. Not very good. That guy... and that guy was Tavo Show. He decided to forego damage so that we may get damage out ourselves, which is good of him to do. There goes the tail. I'm surprised to see that it's already gone, but anyway. And the reason why I'm surprised is because this is the G-rank Elatrion, and tail health is essentially a percentage of full health, and this monster has a lot of health. This is proper Elder Dragon health that this monster has. So, yeah. And when I say proper Elder Dragon health, I mean more in line with the old style of Elder Dragon health. You know, the sort of health where it's going to take at least 15 minutes to get the quest done, instead of typically falling within the 10-minute mark, like Elder Dragons have become as of 4th generation. Which I, quite honestly, and quite obviously, don't appreciate. I do prefer the long Elder Dragon hunts of old. Feels more substantial, feels more significant. You're fighting an Elder Dragon, so it takes a really good team to get it done quickly. Oh well. I was not expecting him to necessarily fly that far away from me in that moment, but it's alright. Gunlance isn't too bad for this monster. I haven't spent much time using Gunlance on Elatrion. I didn't use much Gunlance in my original playthrough of Portable Third, so I didn't really use Gunlance on him there. As far as Gunlancing in this game, no, not really. Haven't done much of that with this monster. I'm sorry, Tavo, seriously. I was hoping that the body would absorb that, but it clearly did not. That was not the best positioning. I'm sorry if I hit you again. I'm trying to point this away from you and I managed to do so, but actually this will be a Wyvern Fire opportunity. I'll point this away. That did make contact. I don't want to go for the head because I don't want to mess up Necros or anything like that. Damage seems good though. I think the team's doing well. The thing is, because I don't have the best paralysis at this point, I'm not going pure support. I am actually dealing damage on my own with a tiny bit of paralysis tacked on. This weapon does not require paralysis to be effective, but it helps. Usually the degree to which a weapon is or isn't a support class weapon depends on how much of its support capabilities it has. If it only has a tiny amount of paralysis, it's probably going to have good roar as well. So, the reason why I say that is because you can't have too many people running support. And if you wonder why I use the word support, what I mean is that Tavo Show, in using that longsword, is essentially giving up damage to do that, so that he may boost the damage of the team by giving us better DPS overall. That's how it works. But if too many people are running something like paralysis, for example, or status of any kind, that does not directly deal damage, then it just stops. It ceases to be effective. But you know, two people running paralysis isn't inherently bad. There are scenarios where that is very effective. If you've got two damage dealers who are very focused on a weak point, then that usually will make two paralysis weapons in a group of four perfectly viable. I'm sharpening up from blue. Sometimes he can land right on you, you know. It's bloody hard to drink tea while playing the game. Also, the range of the Elatrion roar is pretty big. Just as a random comment. That would have hit me back in Try. It's funny, after Try, the tail swing after the charging attack of the Elatrion was essentially removed. I had to... If I were to, for example, go and play Monster Hunter Try and fight Elatrion, I'd probably be getting hit by the tail constantly, because I've totally removed that habit of keeping away from the tail if you're following the Elatrion after a charge attack. Because it used to hit you no matter what if you were within range of it. But in this game, and in Portable Third, that swinging of the tail does not count as an attack. It does not hurt you if it touches you. Which is good, I guess. I think it would be appropriate to at least have it put you on your hands and knees and deal a tiny amount of damage, just to acknowledge that it's the tail of an Elder Dragon swinging in your fucking face. In almost any other scenario, that would be cause for great harm. to the player. Well, there's not much going on in the lava over there, Elatrion, so if you could bring yourself over here, that would be great. Come on, get the heavy shot. Good. I don't want to reload right now. Seemed like a dangerous time to do it. Oh, Tavo. Perhaps not. Well, I understand why he did that. He had one of two options. Either risk getting hit or go for the bind. Wasn't a great idea to go for the bind there because we were not close to the monster. There's a paralysis. Now I'm going to do a heavy shot and get a Wyvern Fire out. That is the plan. Should be able to do it. I'm pointing it this way just in case I hit Sidor, but I don't think that would have happened. He seemed sufficiently distant. Not fucking playing around with your head hitbox there because it's a big hitbox when he does that attack. Fortunately, Elatrion's big enough for me as a Gunlance user to be able to do what I need to do without being messed up by either Tavo Show or Sidor. I pick a leg or a side of the monster and just stick to that. I hate that fucking claw. It's one of my least favorite attacks from any monster in the series, to be completely honest with you. Might sound a little bit dramatic, but it's true. See that tail there? That would have hit me in try. 100%. I don't know why they chose to make that no longer an attack. Did they deem it to be too difficult? Or too unfair? I don't think it was at all, you know, it was just part of the hunt. You had to deal with it. Shut up. I'd say the team's doing well, though. I'm having to move away from my mic when I drink because, needless to say, I can't lift my hand and drink with my microphone in front of me. Just in case someone didn't work that out on their own, and they're wondering why I'm positioning myself strangely when drinking. The position of my microphone necessitates that bizarre behavior. Of course, chasing after an Elatrion as a Blade Master user when the monster is in the air is far from enjoyable, and it's one of the reasons why I've spent so much time gunning Elatrion since Try. I definitely did more Elatrion Blade Master in Try, and I suppose that was because, more often than not, I did use a hammer when fighting Elatrion. But there is a temptation to aim for the wings, to be completely honest. But as a Blade Master user, it is hard to do that consistently. There you go. Nicely done. That was very well done, Hunt. That's a G-rank Elatrion. I got a mantle, guys. Oh, and a Sky Piercer. I can carve Sky Piercers in this game. Of course, Sky Piercer was the ridiculously rare drop from Monster Hunter Tri. They're called Sky Swayers in this game. That's the rare drop. But Yeah, getting a Sky Piercer in Try was a miserable affair. I do have a tail to carve over there, but I am unlikely to carve it fully. I might get one carve out. Might be lucky enough to get it with crouch carving. Oh, it's going to be so close. Oh. Too bad. Sometimes bad connectivity with your fellow hunters can help, because it will prolong the time it takes for the quest to complete. Did I get a Sky Swayer? Oh my, no. I did not. That's alright. I am in need of true armor spheres, so I will be taking those. Alright. And crap talismans as usual. I always get crap talismans, seriously. It's very hard to get good ones in this game. You know, people might see the talismans that I use in this game for my armor sets, and upon the strength of their experience in, say, 4 Ultimate or Generations Ultimate, they'll look at that and go, God, he's got crap talismans. Well, the reality is that it's just different in this game. In Try and 3 Ultimate, a little bit less so Portable Third, but particularly Try and 3 Ultimate, the talismans you get are just not that great. And to be honest, it's better that way, I think. What it means is that getting a God Talisman is less required. Or maybe one could say that it is even more significant to get a God Talisman, but you don't spend your whole time expecting to get one eventually. There are really good talismans that you can get in this game, it's just they're very hard to get, and it's not necessarily related to that bloody charm table system, which has always existed but is particularly broken in this game. And was probably intentional, because Capcom are actually that stupid. They are perfectly capable of being that inept in designing their video game. Hello, Yells. My tea is probably going a bit cold, but that's alright. I mean, the tea that was in that cup was bloody cold. Do I really need to say whose turn it is next? It's fairly clear, guys. Why do I need to baby you like this? It's so obvious. Perhaps it could also be interpreted as courteous on the part of Necros to wait to be told rather than to take matters into his own hands, but I rather imagine that a person should seek to be more independent about it. You know, clearly logic would dictate that it would go in order of who joined the room. And that's what has happened hitherto. So, what's the confusion? Anyway, it is what it is. I'll sit back and wait for Necros to decide on a quest to do. Oh, then again, he might not have returned to the game since having finished the quest. Looks like he's still standing in the position that he was in when he returned. When he returned from the quest, not returned to keyboard. Sometimes my choice of words is bloody confusing, especially when I'm inconsistent with the use of terms. Such as was the case just there. Tavo is asking if Necros is there. Gotta go, he says. I'll thank him for hunting. Well, that would mean that it's Sidor's turn. Do I need to tell him that? Is there still some ambiguity at this stage, even now? Why is my face itchy? Stop that, face. Oh my god. That is assuming he knows what I mean when I say post. Because what he has said thus far is, you can choice. You can choice. Now, it is true that I can choice, we can all choice, but can we post a quest? That is usually dependent upon the whims of the room host. Rather separate to whether or not we can choice. I shouldn't make fun of his English. I'm glad that he makes an attempt. A lot of people don't. But this community's pretty good about that. I've never really encountered people in this community, whether it be the old community from when the game came out, the community halfway through the game's lifespan, and the community now. It has changed about 3 times here. Irrespective of the era of this game's lifespan, Europeans have been pretty good about just engaging in English, and I think that's just Europeans in general. You know, you get South Americans, fuck off. They will not speak to you in English. They will literally speak in Spanish and expect that you understand them. And then you've got, I think Chinese generally won't bother. That's my experience from Generations Ultimate. Again, I don't want to cast aspersions, and I certainly don't want to generalize, but, you know, from my experience, that's what I can say, and I can change if you want. No, this is fine. But yeah, in my experience, the people that I've played with here in this game are perfectly willing to at least try and communicate in English. I'm not saying that they do well at it, but it makes all the difference when they try. And I appreciate that. I don't mean to make light of his poor English. What would I like to use for Urugan? There are certain weapons that I just don't want to use for this monster. I don't know what it is, it's just not that fun. It must have something to do with the chin. I guess part of my concern is I might be in the middle of attacking the Urugan and then he'll turn to face me and then there's this big fucking chin that I'll bounce off. So that does give me cause to avoid certain weapon types like Greatsword. Imagine I'm charging my Greatsword and he turns to face me and I just bounce off that chin. I might use a bow, I'm feeling bow at the moment. But I don't know what I would enjoy using. I suppose spread, so spread water. That would be... no, not that. I think it's Cedeus. Let's check. Whether or not its load up will be for me to establish for myself. No, I can't imagine that that would be necessary. Standard shall work just fine. I don't like the look of this armor set. Those green pants just look terrible. Not so much the fact that they're green. That was just a way for me to explain and describe them to you. I'm more referring to the shape of them. They're just terrible. The way they look so fat and they narrow out at the knee level is just bad. Awful design. Imagine wearing that in real life. You'd look like an absolute dunce. Yes, bow time. I'd like to stand alongside the monster and use spread shot. Rashi has joined the room. Hello, Rashi. He is Hunter rank 6, which regrettably limits the quests that we can do. We can't do anything with an HR rate requirement, but I'm not going to sit here and, you know, castigate him for limiting our choices. The reality is that this is a small community and such people should be supported rather than chased away, so I'm going to not get annoyed or frustrated. He will be able to join this quest, and I'm happy to when his turn comes around. Oh my god. He's using a low rank weapon with a high rank armor set in G rank, which is not great. Rather than doing his key quests, as I was about to say, I think I would rather make him an armor set. But anyway, it is what it is. This is one of the good things about the original Alpha Team games. Hunter rank points, I'm referring to Monster 1, G, DOS, and Try. In those games, Hunter rank points still served a purpose before HR breaking. In games after Try, and I suppose that would be this one, this game that I'm playing right now was the first game to make it so that Hunter rank points actually meant nothing until you surpassed HR 8, the maximum Hunter rank that would be required for any quest that you join. Did I purchase coatings or did I actually... Oh, that's right, I couldn't really do that. Very well. Yeah, Hunter rank points were only used to level up your Hunter rank once it wasn't required for progressing through the game anymore. In all games leading up to... Well, no, I should actually say those specific games. 1, G, DOS, and Try. I say that because the portable games didn't work in this way. What you would need to do is not only complete the key quests, but also reach the HRP threshold that would allow you to go into the next group of quests. What this meant is that you couldn't just do key quests and immediately progress to the next star level. You had to accumulate enough Hunter rank points, which of course would be done by just hunting. That completely changes the way you experience Monster Hunter, and it is, well, what I should say is that that is the standard way in which a person should experience Monster Hunter, and then they changed it. But if a person didn't start off in the series doing that, which I technically didn't, but I will say that I cut my teeth as a hunter in playing Try, so I'm very familiar with that system. You know, if you started off not doing that and then you go and try that, you'll realize just how much better that is as a system, because you don't get... You can still technically have people who just get carried, you know, they haven't really contributed much whatsoever to their own character progression or their own progression through the game. But it is much harder to do that, because it will take longer to progress to each star level of quest, because you actually need to get more and more Hunter rank points for every single star level that you have reached, and that is represented by a Hunter rank. So, to give Monster Hunter 1 as an example, HRs, I think 3 to 5 are 2-star. So, you know, in that 1-star level, you've got multiple Hunter ranks. That's where the HRP comes into play. Now, that system is one of the main ways that just through game design you can avoid this situation where people are just, whether it be down to skill or down to character setup and equipment, are just inadequately set up for the quest level that they're at. I could have explained that a little better, but the point is that you get less of what we're seeing right now with rushing with that kind of system. And I think what's most frustrating, and is a great example of Capcom being almost entirely incapable of designing a game with their own formula. Again, the formula is what's great, it's not the expression of the formula. Capcom have made that very clear. What's crazy is that they originally had that better system and then they just ruined it. They got rid of it. And it was Beta Team that ruined it, and then Beta Team established a standard which I suppose Alpha Team just mimicked by the end of it. So, it's a real shame. You know, Beta Team were all about the streamlining and the simplification, whereas Alpha Team were about crazy concepts that only half worked most of the time. So, that was the situation. Hello Force Infinity, welcome to the live stream. I'm glad that you've caught me live. A lot of people find me in VOD form, and then they do eventually catch my live streams. It's good to see you. Yeah, don't freak out that I'm not using power coatings, because I cannot. In case someone was wondering. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we've been fighting this Uragan for a while. In fact, look at this. He's already leaving. To be completely honest, any good team should be able to one-zone these monsters, but admittedly, We do have Rashi here, who is using a low-rank weapon. Hey, Devil Joe. You stay right there, mister. Alright, now I'll be aiming for the chin. That's going to be a good weak point. I believe for all types of damage, whether it be shot, impact, or cutting, the chin does become a weak point. Perhaps even elementally, once broken. That is a very docile Devil Joe. I don't know, he's got things to do, maybe, that don't involve attacking us. Well, I feel bad for Sidor if he needs his carbs, but he's going to have to do that while a Devil Joe is here, and I don't know if I'm in the mood to draw Devil Joe's attention. You know what, that's your journey today. Enjoy it. But yeah, that old system where you are forced to actually do hunts outside of key quests will give you materials to make better stuff. Whereas if you're incentivized to only do key quests to progress as quickly as possible, you're probably going to be ill-prepared for whatever rank you end up in while playing in that way. So, Sidor, fuck. I guess it's my fault for not helping him out. I'm sitting here, you know, filled with indignation. Sidor, how have you died? Well, it was my choice not to help him out. He needed his calves. Tavo's shrugging. I mean, we've both created this situation by coldly refusing to help him. Whatever. But anyway, it just strikes me that despite so many things being wrong, this is what's crazy. Despite so many things being wrong with old Monster Hunter, when I say that I mean first gen, despite so many things being wrong, they still managed to take one of the good things about it and change it to something worse. I mean, how do you do that? How the fuck? I get it, maybe for the portable games that you want something a little more simplified, but for the stationary console games, keep that system. But sadly, what I'm playing right now is not technically a stationary console game. What I'm playing right now is a port. It's a 3DS port to the Wii U. And it does kind of feel that way sometimes. Yes, it does have some of the online functionality of Tri. Not all of it, but most of it. It has short messaging, which is a theme of the old Alpha Team console games. It has free type on the keyboard. What's it missing, actually, in the way of network functionality? It doesn't have... well, no, I couldn't say that it has a different system from what was previously established, because originally in first generation, and perhaps in DOS as well, I haven't personally experienced online quests in DOS for reasons that I'm sure you can accept, but traditionally, you would go through a menu system to get into Mineguard. Instead of purely going through a menu system to get to Loch Lac in Monster Hunter Tri, you actually went through a physical place. I mean, yes, you had to go through a menu system to get to that physical place, but to then go to the individual rooms, you were walking through an entrance area to Loch Lac City. Sidor is asking if we want to kill Devil Joe. My answer to that would be no. If we had a better team, perhaps. But with you and Rashi on side, I don't think we really need to do that. I don't think it's worthwhile, especially with my loadout. Tabo Show, I mean, he's not using the best hammer in the world, he's using that for fun. It's functional, but it's not great. But overall, no, I do not want to do Devil Joe Sidor. But thank you for the recommendation. I think we're only on our second Uragan. Feels like we've been here forever. But yeah, so you had to go through a menu system to get Mineguard. You didn't necessarily have to do that the whole way in Monster Hunter Tri, and it felt a little more immersive when you didn't have to do that. But in this game, they returned to a pure menu system, because you'll note that in the case of Port Tanzia, you go into the rooms from a menu, instead of actually reaching, for example, the entrance to Port Tanzia and then walking towards said entrance, and then going into the rooms. Now, I'll tell you what that has actually influenced. Back in Tri, there was a lot of communication going on. A lot of communication. Whether it be in the entrance area, the lobby, or in the individual rooms, there was a lot of communication, and it was great. There was a community spirit that existed in that game that has been impossible to reproduce since. It was amazing. And part of it was lost in returning to this menu system here in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, because the lobby of Lochlac felt like a place, because it was. You were physically walking around in there and there were people talking in there. There is still a separate chat area in this game when you haven't yet joined a hub, but you have entered that screen where you can choose little hubs to enter into, you know, the rooms that people actually name and set objectives for. You can talk in there, and that'll be a separate little chat area, and people did use that a little bit when the game was new, but it wasn't the same for the reason that you didn't have a physical space to interact with. You were just basically in a menu system with a background there. But in Tri, you were in this space, and while you couldn't see anyone, it just felt like a place to gather and chat with people, and that's how it was used, and it was great. That's where a lot of people spent their last moments. What the fuck is going... Can we... Can we not do this? I don't want to be failing this triple Urugan quest. That's going to be a fucking waste of my time and your time. I don't know why this guy, using a low-rank sword and shield, deems it appropriate in any way to be fighting a G-rank Double Joe. That is both absurd and insulting to the team, because, you know, we do actually want to succeed, I would imagine. Tavo has explained, just avoid Double Joe. Perhaps Saidor asked if we were going to find Double Joe, not as a suggestion, but rather as confirmation, upon having seen Rashi fighting the fucking thing. Now, we're not going to be fighting the Double Joe, not with this team, and that is now only further clear having seen what's just happened, with Rashi fucking dying. Oh, he did so well. Well, no, he didn't. He might have survived, but was he dealing any damage? No! As far as I'm aware, that is a full health Double Joe. The health of the invading monster is not reduced by virtue of the number of monsters listed in the objectives. So therefore, he's wasting his time. He's basically flogging the Devil Joe with a warm lettuce leaf, and is pretending like he's doing something. What he's doing is compromising the experience of the team. So if he could stop doing that, that would be... Now, under certain circumstances, I would give this guy the benefit of the doubt. But this is fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. He is going to be told that he is an absolute fool, in no uncertain terms, and he will be fucking removed from the room. I will not deal with this. That is a waste of time. It's a waste of his time, and he can go and have a personal journey in informing himself of how to conduct online play. He can sit down and think about it for a while. I'm not going to personally sabotage my live stream or my personal enjoyment in slowly showing him how to conduct online play. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm going to wait until he returns. What are you doing? We're going to have a conversation here. Sorry, he says. No amount of crying faces is going to excuse sheer, unfettered stupidity. He run and don't escape. Are you referring to yourself as he at this point? You're a liability. That's what you are. Other people wouldn't be so friendly as to engage in conversation before kicking you. At this stage, I at least want to establish what's going on in your head. Hate Devil Joe. Well, stop fucking fighting him. You don't have to. You're not obligated to do so. In having done so, you've ruined the experience for everyone else, so what are you doing? Unfortunately, I can't have a constructive conversation with him because he has a simple command of the English language, which isn't, you know, a mark against him, but it... Fuck off, man. Really, really sorry. Focus? I'm not gonna kick him. If he's genuinely sorry, then it's fine, but fucking hell. Like, if he wasn't sorry, he'd be gone, but if he's going to apologize so profusely, then fine. Focus on the objective and don't ruin the game for others. Okay? That's what it comes down to. This is not inexperience, this is stupidity. You know, some things fall under game sense and other things fall under common sense. That is the reality. This person is struggling with the latter, not the former. He may very well be struggling with both. But this circumstance reveals that he's primarily suffering a disadvantage in the realms of logic, not in the realms of, oh, this is what I should be doing in this video game. I mean, you're using a weapon that... Let's look at his damage. He's probably dealing about 160 to 170 inflated raw on a sword and shield. On a G-rank Devil Joe. He's got a little bit of elemental damage, but that's only going to be proportionately effective to how much raw damage he's doing, which is basically nothing. And he's also got high rank armor. You know, he can use his evasion +1 to survive as much as he wants, but he's wasting our time, so... And also, evidently that didn't do much to help him, because he died twice. And Sidon, I don't even know what was going on with him. Oh, that's right, he was trying to carve and the Devil Joe killed him. I don't know if this person has learnt the lessons needed to continue hunting with this team. Sidor can post. Wait, he posted last, didn't he? You know what? Sidor technically contributed to that failure, so he's not going to choose again. I will choose a quest. Fuck. It's so frustrating. Let's do 3 Crimson Kurapeko. Let's keep it... Actually, no, that's not simple. That's not as simple as it sounds. There is an invading Stygians and Ogre in this quest, so let's not do that one. Let's keep it fucking simple. Let's do 2 Azure Rathlos. Fucking hell, man. It is surreal. Well, you're witnessing it. With your very eyes. It's here. It's right here. And there's nothing I can do except hope that he learns his lesson, but that doesn't change the reality that we're still hunting with a guy who's using a low rank weapon in G rank. So I don't know what I can do for this person, but I'm already sick of it. I'll bring a rapid bow. This'll do. Fucking Jesus. And because he's not well versed in the English language, I can't give him a detailed explanation as to why he's being a complete buffoon. I suppose my gravamen at this point would be that he has been carried to this point and yet still has the temerity to solo a Devil Joe. What is he doing? Like, what the fuck? Oh, it's so stupid. I've had enough. If it happens again, if anything stupid like that happens again, he is gone. You know, I can't ignore sincere apology, but, you know, it can only go so far. You get one extra chance on account of your sincere apology. After that, you can sincerely reconsider whether or not you should be playing the fucking game. Unbelievable. Hello, Juvenator. He might be a child. Seriously. That's also perfectly possible. But if you were to watch everything that's happened to Juvenator, you'll find that the way in which I'm speaking to him and talking about him is perfectly reasonable. Like, I'm not being overly refractory here. Like, this is not okay. And he's lucky he's still in the room. Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying Elden Ring, Juvenator. I'm glad you made a start in the Soul series before that. It's a good starting point. Some people, no doubt, have actually, even now, shockingly, have been playing Elden Ring without prior experience in Dark Souls. And I don't count 10 hours of playing Dark Souls 3 as prior Dark Souls experience, just for the record. Actually, come to think of it, I didn't bring coatings and I presumably can shoot power with this bow, yeah. Well, not entirely unusual, if you think about it. It's just the typical Doomlink thing. Alright, this is non-load up, so I don't need to charge it for that long. The little rapid shots are so small in this game, you almost can't tell that it's rapid. It can at times even look like Pierce. Like a really low level of Pierce, like Pierce level 1 or 2 in the arrow. Fuck, I'm trying to hit the head, not the wing. Ugh, got an itchy nose. Speaking of itchy nose, I wonder how that guy's doing. He's probably regretting his career right about now, which is such a shame, he shouldn't have to. He was a rather esteemed figure at one time, now he's just been misused beyond all reasonable practice on the part of Capcom. Poor man. Anyway, that's enough of that topic. Because you know what that's going to segue into, don't you? And we're not going there. I need to use rapid bow more often, it's good fun. Ugh. No fireball follow-up? Good of you to do that. I didn't run out of stamina for no purpose. Well, I did run out of stamina still, but... And I wouldn't go so far as to say that there was a purpose to me running out of stamina, however... Oh, that was clean. Very nicely done. Oh, very nicely done, Rashi. You are somewhat redeeming yourself with that one. As for the damage you're dealing with the weapon, perhaps it's not that impressive. I haven't checked the weapon that he's using. At least he's chosen something different. What I am assured of is that he's doing more damage with that than whatever he was using before. So... Which was Eternal Strife, unupgraded. Which is a fucking weak weapon when fully upgraded. It's the Rust Sword and Shield. Terrible weapon. Really not a great choice. In any scenario. Yeah, that is rapid. See, it's very small. The effect that it has and the appearance of the arrows as they're shot. But that's Trine 3 Ultimate. You know, paintballs are really tiny looking, arrows are really tiny looking. Small and clean, I guess, is the style. Why aren't you doing power shots, Doomlink? Asks all of the 4th gen players. Well, I'll let you figure that out on your own, hey? What I did somewhat recently discover, and in saying somewhat recently, I mean within the last 2 years, which may not sound all that recent, but in the context of my experience in playing Portable Third, yeah, very recent, I realized that Rapid Bow on Deviljho is really fun. Like, really fun. And I enjoy it a lot. Are we really going to kill him in there? That would be very funny. I mean, someone's going to miss out on carbs, but it would be very funny. In fact, we are certainly going to kill him in there. What a place for the Rathalos to die. We've just pushed him into a cave. Perhaps he's retreating. He's aggressively retreating with the full expectation that he's going to die. And now he's flying through the cave. That's one way to counteract the situation. Jeez. Well, I didn't mean to make light of your suffering, but shit. Look at him go. It's not often that you have to witness a Rathalos having to readjust himself like that. Well, here we go. This thing would be dead if I had brought power coatings, I'm almost assured of it. Oh, don't you do this. Come on. Never mind, I thought he was leaving. Well, let's do a double one zone without having left the area. That'd be nice. That's the wing, not the head, Doomlink. But we appreciate the attempt that you've made. Who is we? I don't know. You, I guess, and for some reason I'm including myself in my viewer base. Technically I am viewing the proceedings, but it would be incorrect to say that I'm a viewer. Because then things will get a little bit confusing. People will start wondering who's playing the game. Who's this guy? Who's on the webcam pretending to play the game? Anyway, what level of Rapid? It's Rapid Arrow 4 on the 3rd charge. Stop, I don't need Cortexes anyway. I shouldn't even be carving bile, right? So I've got plenty of Azure stuff. It is... Excuse me, Rapid level 5 on the 3rd charge. I thought it was level 4. I must be going crazy. Oh, that's what it was. It was Spread level 4 on the 3rd charge for the Deus bow that I was using before. This is Rapid level 5 on the 3rd charge with this. Rashi has exited the game. Well... You were on your way to redeeming yourself and you've gone and left, so perhaps it's outside of his control, but... I think a lot of things are outside of his control. At this point. It seems that every time I play 3 Ultimate, I'm foisted with the shocking incompetence of at least one person, who is not just incapable of playing the game, but is stunningly incapable of functioning as a human being. And I suppose it would be unfair to describe that person in such strong terms, but definitely that last guy, and it may not have been my last 3 Ultimate recording before this one, but at least the one before it, the guy who named himself Hunter, he was on another level. That was actually sad. I felt sorry for him. He even admitted that he was just a kid. He realized how out of his depth he was. I was thoroughly convinced he wasn't using his own character. And I asked him and he was like, no, it's my character. I'm thinking, well, how the fuck did you get this far? I'm surprised that you even know how to engage in gathering and mining and sharpening your weapon. And here you are in endgame G rank at Hunter rank 80 something. I couldn't believe it. Sorry, and Tavo's like, what? And he says, I will sleep. Oh, okay. Don't apologize, man. I got so many monster materials? Well, that seemed like a... Are you saying I personally have a lot of materials in my possession, or are you saying that I got a lot from the rewards? Because I suppose the former would be correct, but the latter, not really. I am bad, I think he meant to say. He's saying he's bad at the game. Well, it's... Compared to the other guy, you're fine. Thanks for hunting. I'll at least thank you for hunting, shit. Again, by virtue of comparison, I'm not going to be sitting here making fun of this guy's abilities. He's hunter rank 86, which is... It's actually a higher hunter rank than it sounds, because it takes a while to get to 86 in this game. Like, that's 200 hours, at least. Hunter rank is harder to increase in 3 Ultimate. If your point of reference is a game like Generations Ultimate, forget it. I'm less than half of the hunter rank in this game that I am in Generations Ultimate, and I've played about the same amount. Tarbo wants to do an arena quest. Is it a 2-person limit? Challenge Quest 3. Max participants 2. Okay. Tomorrow? Asks Sidor. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm not going to sketch in a date in my diary so that I may play with you again. Well, here we go, Exchanger. I may very well eat for that. I would assume, actually, I don't know this. Do food skills affect arena hunts? One would assume not, because you're hunting with a different loadout. So your feline skills may not affect anything. Tarbo's probably like, why are you eating? Well, I want Exchanger and I hope that it does something. It probably doesn't. But I can pray. Food skills do not affect arena quests, says Vernon. Well, I'm sad. And saddened. Because seriously, I don't get Exchanger all that often. Plesioth Waveblade? Nah. On a fucking ivory? No. Oh well. Enduring Sacrifice. That old first-gen weapon. Kettle Blower? Well, they're really putting out... I don't really like any of these loadouts, to be honest. I mean, it is a challenge quest, so... Yeah, I'll also go Enduring Sacrifice. It'll be a land arena, so... Presumably it will be one at a time, and if it is one at a time, it's not much of a challenge. Yes, that's right, Yells. It's not a normal hunt. Presumably there's nothing in here. It's all in our inventory already. I will use a max potion when I next take a hit. I'm sorry if I just, did something unreasonable by joining the area before you. Maybe it would have been better to consume rations before entering, but... This dumbass hasn't seen me. I think Dragon's just a better choice overall. Do you like my antenna? Looks lovely. The insects battle out, or battle it out with the monsters. That's how you speak English, Doomlink. Nice word. It's one of the very rare occasions where you'll see me using these dual blades. I don't like them at all. The only other time you'll see me using them is in first generation Monster Hunter against Fatalis, and that is it. And there's a reason for that. It's because the very high dragon value of the Enduring Sacrifice on the very dragon weak head of a Fatalis in that game, or in that era of Monster Hunter, is actually very effective. Again, I'll use a max potion when I'm next hit so that I may be at max health, but I don't want to use it purely as a, here we go, purely as a health bar size increasing thing. I want to also have it be health recovery, like so. I do have null berries, but I'm not going to use it for Thunderblight. Even now, I'm not 100% sure what the next monsters are, but I need to get my charge back up. And I just lost it all, because I evaded. I guess what you mean is what's the monster that I most dislike in 3 Ultimate? At one time it was Pink Raytheon. I don't know if that would still be the case. I'll think about it. The monster that most frustrates me in 3 Ultimate. Oh, fucking hell, you're giving me so little opportunities to attack you. And I still couldn't get out of the way. Fucking hell. I guess it's a challenge quest. I'm being challenged as we speak. I suppose we'll just say Pink Raytheon. Oh, there you go. Dead already, okay. Tarbo's probably looking for good times. I'm sorry if I can't contribute to that. I'm not really taking this all that seriously. What do we get from calves? First aid meds? Okay. I don't think I'll be in need of them, but sure. I do have space for another life powder, so I'll go and gather at the boxes in the center. Well, Abyssal's pretty shit, yeah. Abyssal would be up there. I don't like Abyssal because, again, you're underwater, so you have limited mobility, and the monster is very mobile and is just generally frustrating. You know what, that's true. I'd say Abyssal laggy because I'm sick of doing that quest. I'm happy to do it if people need it, because I understand why everyone needs it. The thunder weapons that you can make are very good. They are the best thunder weapons of the game. It's a necessity that one hunts Abyssal Lagiocruz, but it doesn't mean I'm going to fucking enjoy it. So, and in fact, I really don't enjoy it. There's a creepy face. Oh. Azure Rathalos. Hello. Oh, that's right, I don't have earplugs or Rocksteady or anything like that. Seriously, that's one thing that I hate about the Fireball. It doesn't just have effectiveness in the direct impact, it has splash damage that can hit you if you're close to it, and you don't just get gently kissed by the flame, you get fucking thrown by it. Even if it was just close to you, or happened to be close to you. Well, that's not good. Life powder time. I really need to get my dual blades charged up. And this is not how one does that, but I don't have much of a choice except to... Whoa! Yeah, Tarbo's obviously gone and gathered for flash bombs quite close to where Rathalos is standing right now, but I don't have any, unfortunately. So I can't contribute to the attempts to flash bomb the monster, and now would be a great time to do it. I was fortunately just out of range of that splash damage that I had previously intimated about. Yes, if you could get out of the fucking air. I think everyone would appreciate that. Notably me. No. Fuck. See that splash damage? I can't do anything about it. It's so unfair. I'm gonna send a wordy letter to Capcom and not only explain to them that splash damage is unfair, but also explain to them why. As game developers, they have single-handedly ruined the series. And have been actively doing that for well over a decade. Which I'm sure they would appreciate, you know, they'd be quite happy to hear what I have to say about that, I'm sure. If you could get out of the fucking sky, thank you. I get it that you're a flying wife. I get that you're a flying wyvern, but can you stop? I don't know if you're trying to... Okay, great, and then just roar and then go back in the fucking air before I can even charge up my dual blades. I'm trying to charge up my dual blades. That is my objective at this time, and I can't do it because he won't get out of the damn sky. Off he goes again. Oh, I'm a dragon, I'm flying around. Well, I'm sick of it. Could you at least give me a chance to hit you? I guess I have to settle for the tail. Oh no, you're gonna land on my face. He's like, oh yeah, you want me to be on the ground? I'll land on your fucking head. Yeah, it's just what I wanted. You know what this really demonstrates to me? It's the fact that I fucking hate dual blades. I hate them. They are not mobile weapon types at all. You may be able to attack quickly with them, but, you know, the process of going into demonized mode and then all the rest of it. It's fucking annoying. Notice how this has been much slower. It's because this dick, this absolute arse of a monster, won't give an inch. Yeah, as long as we don't get a follow-up fucking fireball from them, which I believe is only incorporated into the moveset of Silver Atlas. You know, the fireball out of the claw attack. I'd love to trap you, but we'll be standing here all day if I try to fucking trap you, so I'm not doing it. Hitting the head of this monster with these dual blades really is going to be the... I keep forgetting that I don't have raw resistance. I'm so used to having it. You know, you become very spoiled by it when you get used to it. If I had flash bombs, this would make life a lot easier. I could just fucking throw one every time he gets in the air. Would give us a lot more of a chance to hit the monster. Yeah, brilliant. Good on you. Fucking ass. I would never voluntarily use dual blades for this monster. But I suppose I've technically volunteered to do that today, but, you know, it's not my loadout, is it? So... I hate you. There are certain weapon types that just don't work for certain monsters, and I'm not enough of a dual blades buff to force myself to use it for this particular monster. Just flinch or something, man. Tavo's not doing well. He has opted to use a max potion to get himself out of that situation. Now, good. Unsurprising that we ended up killing him in mid-air because he won't get out of the fucking air, so if he's gonna die, it'll probably be while he's flying. It gives me great pleasure to see that you've departed this world. Fucking irritant. Apparently I was using first aid meds without even realizing that I was doing so. Subconscious Doomlink actually has a mind to conserve healing wares, pursuant to long-term goals such as surviving. Which is reassuring. Thanks, Subconscious Doomlink. Might be hard to imagine that I was playing subconsciously, but I was. I was too busy complaining to actually pay attention, so maybe that only served to negatively impact the hunt for me, but whatever. Unfortunately, in this game, you can't continue attacking the monster while it's dead to get your charge up on whatever weapon you're using, and I'm sure that's by design. You used to be able to do that, and then they stopped you from being able to. And it frustrates me. I think even in Try you could do that. Oh shit. I hope one of us had a plan for the... I'm sorry, Tavo. I really should have made an attempt to detonate. You basically sacrificed your damage during this trap to detonate the bombs, and I'm not entirely sure that that was better than hitting the monster yourself, but anyway. No, I just wasn't paying attention. I was too busy talking about other things. Now I'm covered in goop. I don't know about these dual blades being used for this particular monster. I wouldn't dream of it ordinarily, but I do have another trap which I'll place. We don't have tranks or anything, so it couldn't be used to shorten the length of the hunt or anything. Get in there. Are you really dancing around my trap? Look at him. Bloody inconsiderate. He is dancing around my trap. And what does he do? He places slime right next to his face. I hate you. I hate you so much. I had that trap opportunity to do at least maybe one demon dance on the head, but I couldn't do that. I had to position myself slightly to the side of him to avoid that, and I still got hit by it anyway, so am I happy about what's happened? No. If you're wondering why I'm being such a whiny bitch today, or with this particular quest, I suppose I should say, it's because I don't like quests in this location. The land arena is the most boring and drab location ever. So the hunt needs to be pretty fucking fun to make up for that, and this is not that fun. I mean, I can live with it, but, you know, I don't like arena quests, okay? Maybe some people like arena quests, maybe some people just get weak in the knees over arena quests, whether they are actual arena quests or if they just happen to be set in an arena. Irrespective of which of those two we are referring to, I am not a fan, and I will furthermore say that I have always hated training quests as well. Training quests are the bane of my existence. They are neither interesting nor fun nor engaging or enriching. They are fucking shit, and I hate having to do them to unlock certain things in the earlier games. Just, ugh. Terrible. I understand that they exist, and I'm sure they have a purpose, it's just I fucking hate them. I've always hated them. I get a lot of enjoyment out of fighting monsters in their environment. It's part of the experience, you know, you're in Monster Hunter, you're departing from your home or your town, and you're going out into the wilderness and fighting monsters in their element. Next thing you know, you're in some fucking dirt pit, fighting a monster, and in the case of the older games where you have to do training quests, you're doing it over and over and over again, ad infinitum, which seems to not actually concern older hunters because they're rather comfortable with extreme repetition. Why, I don't know, but I'm very uncomfortable with that. I mean, yes, I'll live with a bit of repetition for purposes of farming, but in the fucking land arena or whatever arena it happens to be, no. I'm sick of it. Anyway. Yes, Brachydios does look nice. This is his first game. He is the flagship of 3 Ultimate, or more like the flagship of 3G. Why they chose Azure Rathalos to be the flagship of 3 Ultimate, I will never know. Well, I do actually know. It's because Western audiences appreciate something that they can make sense of when they look at it. You know, Blue Dragon, pretty simple. Whereas Japanese audiences like eccentric designs, like Brachydios. They'll look at it and go, ooh, what's this? I'm going to play it. It probably wouldn't be that way anyway. Everyone in Japan knows what Monster Hunter is. So, it would only serve to stoke an excitement that would inevitably be there. Whereas in the case of Azure Rathalos, it's supposed to maybe attract a person who either doesn't know about the series or is unsure as to whether or not they want to give the series a try. It's designed to encourage such people to give it a try. So there you go. That was a great noise you just made, Doomlink. Thank you for that. Whatever. We're 15 minutes in. We're not doing that well. I don't know if it would have been better to bring a bowgun, but that was mostly a status bowgun, to be honest. I mean, Master Kettle Blower is not so much of a damage dealer as it is a status gun. But anyway. And it's probably been made very clear that I'm not the most adroit dual blades user in the world. But I don't particularly care. You know, I've got an even degree of skill across all weapon types, but I'll tell you one thing that helps when it comes to performing well with a weapon type. It's liking the weapon type. And I'm not a huge fan of dual blades, I never have been. Sword and Shield beats the fucking balls off dual blades any day of the week. It absolutely eviscerates dual blades into the next dimension. It just, dual blades almost don't deserve to exist in a world where Sword and Shield exists. So, that's my opinion on Sword and Shield versus dual blades. And let's not forget that one of my favourite weapon types is Sword and Shield. Here I am carving fucking first aid meds at the end of the quest. Yes, you can cut the tail of Brachydios. It's kind of hard to do though. It's one of those things that's best done either with a longsword. I would say really just a longsword, because the mobility of switch axe isn't really good enough to do that while the monster's moving. But anyway. We A-ranked that. Woo! Got 2 Hunter King coins. It's now 28, which is enthralling to say the least. But anyway. Well, I'm not going to go so far as to say that was shit, but it wasn't fun. So, you know, we'll strike a balance in the middle somewhere and say that it was average. It was an average experience. And I'm not especially looking forward to experiencing it again. Sadly, I was about to say sadly in this time we have not managed to get another hunter, but we just got Kirito. Oh my god, guys, Kirito is here. Maybe he's trapped in the game. He must have played the beta. Olo, what? This is a new one. Olo. I have never seen that as a greeting. Of all the greetings I've ever seen in my life, and there are many, I've never seen O-double-L-O. There's nothing wrong with being unique, but that's maybe a little too unique for my liking. Anyway, what would be enjoyable? Three Gobel. Yeah, 3 Gobel. That sounds like fun. It's the kind of hunt that I would prefer to do with 3 people, because I think 4 people can really dominate a Gobel. And Gobel is tier 1 or tier 2? I'd say tier 1, probably. Assuming there would be 3 tiers of monster, and there is not always a consistent tier system. But if we were to split the monsters into 3 tiers, I'd say that, you know, Gobel would be tier 1, for example. Nagakuga would be tier 2, and, say, Agnaktor would be tier 3. Those are the examples that I'll offer. But anyway. And depending on the game, you can have 4 tiers of monster, honestly. Technically there are, because I wouldn't put Devil Joe in the same tier as Rathalos or Agnaktor. And Rathalos and Agnaktor would be tier 3, so maybe there are 4 tiers. 4 tiers would probably include Devil Joe and Elder Dragons. I've always considered Devil Joe to be more of an Elder Dragon tier monster from my try experience, because the amount of damage that Devil Joe did was on par with an Elder Dragon, and the amount of health that he had, while perhaps not as high as an Elder Dragon traditionally speaking, was fucking high. So it was a big deal to kill a Devil Joe. He was definitely harder than the other monsters in the game. The other standard monsters. I don't want... No. Vernon, please. We do not want Gobel to return because it will make this game less unique. This game has more value because Gobel doesn't exist anywhere else. We don't want Gobel to return for 2 reasons. That reason that I just mentioned, and second of all, the fact that you and I both agree that Monster Hunter is dead. So, we don't want Gobel to return, actually. I understand you might have said that while expressing that you like Gobel, and maybe that was the point, but actually, no, we don't want that. Ugh. Anyway. I think Greatsword would be fun. I'll use the Nether Lufractress. Well, actually, I certainly don't need high-grade earplugs for this. I'll use Nether Lufractress with my Rocksteady set. I do realise that Gobel does not have a roar that flinches you, but I, conversely, do not have a Greatsword set that doesn't possess a skill that is designed to resist roars, so live with it. Live with a wasted skill. But you know what? Rocksteady is not wasted if the monster doesn't roar, because Rocksteady does have the additional function of reducing flinch. Okay, that's alright, Vernon. And I apologise for being so reactionary. But I was partially offended by the suggestion that we should have Goebel in future games. Perhaps more than partially. My sensibilities were offended. That's what we'll say. Exchanger again. I'm going to consume a voucher again. I regret that I must do it after they have likely already eaten. We've got Tavo using the best firehammer of the game, and Kirito using probably the best paralysis weapons of the game. And I'm using the best Thunder Greatsword of the game. Is this excessive, given the hunt that we're doing? Yes. But at least it's only 3 people. If it were 4, it would be pretty unreasonable. It wouldn't even feel like a hunt. It would be, oh look, there's Goebel, and then he'd be dead. And then it would be that happening twice further after that point. You know what? No. I'm gonna drop smoke underwater. Oh, that makes sense. Goebel starts here, I think. He does spawn here. And I'm assuming he'll be here. Yeah, there he is. Let's see the... Hello. You looked as if you just appeared out of nowhere. Which is not how you work. You burrow and dig out of the ground. Don't leave, fucker. Yeah, exactly. These Ludroth are getting involved. They're helping! The Ludroth are helping! I'm the Ludroth Whisperer. The Ludroth are helping, and then he immediately kills one of them. Well. I command the beasts to assist. Did you see that, though? Both of them just ran in there and bit the Goebel. That's great. Cutting the tail does help. The Goebel has paralysis capabilities with that tail. If you're hit by it, you will be paralyzed. He may very well be the only monster in the series that paralyzes you by swinging a tail at you. I do not include frontier monsters, okay? Anything that a monster can conceivably do has been done in Frontier, okay? So I don't need Frontier examples. I'm talking about the mainline series. And I'm not talking about games past 4th generation, because that's no longer Monster Hunter, that's something else. So, yeah. Thank you. I'm glad we've all established that now. I love how Goebel runs on land. It's similar to a waddle, but it's more like he's throwing himself forwards. I suppose bounding would be the word. He bounds forwards. Ow. He's like an excitable but terribly overweight dog. Look at that. That is how a dog would move if it had been mistreated. In that it had been fed far too much. Here we go, we're going to get a good look at this greatsword as it charges up. Ooh, yeah. The Abyssal Lagiacruz weapon designs are some of my favourite in the series. Just lovely. Really, really good. The only one that I don't like is Switch Axe. And Gunlance. I guess the Switch Axe is fine, but the Gunlance is especially disappointing. I suppose he's happy, yeah. Big Goebel smile. Perhaps that's not so much of a smile. Maybe that is a smile. Yeah, I suppose depending on how you look at it, that could be a smile. It's more akin to a creepy clown smile than a happy smile, though. You know, breaking the lantern of a Goebel is so annoying. I hate doing that. It's easy with a bow, but everything else is annoying to do it with. Unless, I suppose, if you were using normal ammunition with a bowgun, that would be fine. But... Oh, hello. How do you fare today? I think he appears... Yeah, he does appear here. I was right. I thought he was going to go straight into an attack. I nearly shat. I think that did manage to hit him. I'm surprised that he wasn't flinched out of it. I don't regret all that much that we're not going to have a demonstration of underwater Goebel, because we will presumably one zone each of them. But, seriously, underwater Goebel's not that fun. There we go. I will contribute to the KO damage. I'm sure land compensation dealt the damage. Let's not start doubting ourselves. I'm going to hit the lantern here if I can fucking stop sharpening. That felt like it took too long. Damn it! That's what happens when you're sharpening for half an hour instead of hitting the monster. Is he small? I don't know if he's small. We'll see if we get a gold crown small at any point, but he looks like a normal sized one to me. I don't even think he's necessarily all that smaller than the other one we fought. Is he going to get out? Oh, he's not going to get out. You thought that this was your chance, Goebel, but it really is not. It's your chance to escape suffering faster. That's what it is. Now, of course, I'm not in need of Goebel stuff, but I always carve. I'll try and place bombs where he's going to appear next. Now, where did he appear before? It was roughly here, I think. I hope I'm right. Pretty sure that's about right. It's either around here or around here. Having this big Goebel in the way is making it harder to tell, but... yeah. Right around-ish. Thank you, Vernon. That really narrows it down. I'm going to bank on this position. Am I right? Nah. Well, Tavo was standing in the right spot, but that's alright. I will seek to detonate the bombs before we start attacking in the trap. Hopefully everyone's ready to give the bombs a wide berth. Here we go. I'm sorry, Tavo. It's better to do it now than during the trap. Get over here. Spiky ball. At this stage it's just pointless because we do have a paralysis, as you can see. Might be able to cut the tail. Let's see what I can do. Looks like Kirito's going for it also. I think it'll go with my next charge. Remember, the health of a tail is always proportionate to the overall damage of or the overall health of the monster. This monster has reduced health, therefore the tail will pop off more easily. Thank you, Doomlink. Anyway. Gotta love that critical draw though, don't you? I'm assuming I have critical draw. I do. He's so wide that I had to dive that. It was a delayed impact for some reason. I suppose that was a form of splash damage. It looked like it anyway. You've actually failed to flash me with that. It's almost disappointing. I would have preferred to have been flashed successfully. It would have made it seem as if you were a little more capable of doing something that would inconvenience me. You've already inconvenienced me by not even going in the trap that I had set. He's actually wasting my shock traps. If there was one thing you managed to do, it was waste one of my shock traps. Good hunt. GG, says Kirito. If you can believe it, there was a time when, you know, the community was tight-knit enough for everyone to always have a Monster Hunter specific way of congratulating everyone at the end of the hunt. And then as the community started to, expand, then everyone started saying GG, like you would in any game. And I don't like that. That's the example of, a small, intimate community becoming more generalized by everyone else getting involved. So, saying good hunt is then replaced by GG. Now, which one is more romantic? You tell me. Good hunt was the standard at one time. Even nice work, but then GG comes along, which is really just a very clinical and boring way to say anything. It's just like, okay, good game. We're not even going to type it out, we're just going to be like GG. There's no emotion behind it. GG. It's that level of simplicity that's so typical of mainstream communities that it's just... It's sad to see it make its way into Monster Hunter, but that happened a long time ago. I'm lamenting the fact as if it's a recent thing. No, we're talking, 10 years ago that happened. No, would have been less than 10 years ago, but still, it was a while ago. That was actually my 99th Omniplegia sack, or Omniplegia? I don't even know how that word is pronounced. I'm not familiar with it. Tavo Show, 3 Royal Ludroth. Okay, well, we've just taken a step down in difficulty after having, violently abused those monsters. I don't think I want to keep these VE tickets. I don't actually want this extra stack of VE tickets. I'm not going to even use 1 stack, much less the second stack. Chernobyl has joined. Well, Kirito and Chernobyl have, I think, even simultaneously been present in a hunt that I've done recently, or in a recording I've done recently. You were so wrong. It did not look like a... seems like a good quest for Switch Axe. There is no such thing, but I'll assume that you're correct. If that's what your instincts are telling you, then we'll go ahead with that. Switch Axe. Switch Axe. I don't even have Awakened Switch Axes. That's so funny. It never at any time occurred to me that I might want to make Awakened Switch Axes, and it's not because I actively avoided doing that. It's because Switch Axe is so unappealing to me that I didn't even consider it as an option. Now, of course, making Awakened weapons is essentially a way of expanding your options. It's giving you more choice, and it improves the end game experience. But Switch Axe is so bad already that I didn't even consider how to improve it. My brain just blacklists it from my mind. Oh, Switch Axe. Fucking garbage weapon type. Some people love Switch Axe and take it personally when I rip on the weapon type, but it is just fucking bad. It doesn't deserve to exist. And if you can believe it, it was even worse in Try. Yeah, you had 2 types of people in Try. You had the people who used Switch Axe and you had the people who didn't. And generally you could actually make a fair judgment on people based on that factor alone. And it was generally fairly accurate. But I don't want to start getting, accusatory. I'm not going to say that people who use Switch Axe are somehow inferior. But anyway, let's use this. What I will do... because I don't want to keep these people waiting. I need to go to the bathroom, right? Because I just drank a pot of tea. Can you forgive me for that? I just drank a pot of tea. So I do need to visit the little boy's room. But I will not detain the team in this location in so doing. I will depart with them and then leech on the quest. Because Ludroth materials are so valuable and indeed require such great pains to acquire that I want to leech on the quest. Oh, Chernobyl was the guy who went and fucking fought the wrong Diablos, the one with full health instead of the one that was almost dead. We literally killed the one that was dead, and then he went and died along with another guy to then fail the quest, and then when we returned he was like, let's all focus on the same monster. Really? I hope you were talking to yourself and not to the team in having said that, because I think we got the point. It was you who was struggling with that. Anyway, let's not go back to that point. I did make a highlight of that, so I don't really need to address that again. I will be back momentarily. Those guys can have fun three-manning. I lost 2 viewers in going to the bathroom. Just so that you all know the sacrifice that I just made. They were like, I'm on Twitch. I need constant and immediate entertainment. Fuck this. Also, I'm not following you because you're boring. Oh dear. This is why I shouldn't watch the viewer counts. And I generally don't, but there's a long story associated with that. Anyway. I am assuming they are still in Area 9. Does Ludroth spawn in Area 9? Does he do the Ivory Lagiacruz thing where the monster fucking flies into the arena? From over there, I think, or from... You know, I would even go so far as to say that Ivory Laggy flies in from up there. I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, there's a tail. I did not earn this carve, but I'm doing it anyway. Oh, Kirito followed me to the Dying Diablos. Well, I was correct that these two were most recently here. Together with me. You'd think they'd fucking make it so that he wasn't jumping through a solid object to get down here, wouldn't you? If he had just continued along the original trajectory of where he had spawned, he wouldn't need to jump through a solid object, but they actually angle him so that he does that. Why? I'll try to keep away from Tavo if I can. I actually really like the design of this switch axe, not because of the whole fire thing, but because of the range that it has. If you can see, it really juts out in sword mode. I don't even think it's just the perception of long range. I think it's just a long range switch axe, I really do. Although sometimes it does give the illusion of greater reach, despite the fact that it may not have greater reach. Because if it curves upwards, that might not actually give you more reach. Because if it's curving upwards, it does not get to the monster. Well, you know what I mean when I say that. It was such an obvious thing that I couldn't even formulate the words to adequately describe it, if that makes any sense. So let's check this again, this whole spawning sequence of the Royal Ludroth. Because he has space to... Oh my god. He has the space to walk out of there and jump down here without needing to walk through solid rock. But he does that. See, if he were to just go straight ahead and then jump and land right here, that would be fine. But no, he jumps on an angle and lands around here. It's pretty cool that he comes from there, though. I've actually walked through that, if you can believe it. Back in the days when we used to do glitch runs, you can actually, from Area 5, walk into here, walk through all these ruins, and see that there? That's actually a land bridge that you can walk across and get into there. Watch this. Instead of going straight ahead, he turns and then goes through a fucking solid object. Fucking hell, Capcom. I mean, what are you doing? The monster does not turn for no reason. The monster turns like that because you designed that. Why? Why do you do this thing? Anyway. Fucking Capcom. Elemental burst with elemental file equals terribly damaged monster. And the evidence of that is clear. Very clear. I don't know if we deserve a well done for killing 3 Ludroth in quick succession, Tavo, but, you know, I appreciate the sentiment. I'll give you a good hunt. I'll give the team a good hunt for that. But yeah, I'm not not sitting here in a state of wonderment at the efficient killing of 3 Ludroth with a full G-rank team. Anyway. I'm not sure what Tarbo's actually doing, but yeah, back in Try, when there was less to do, and when I say less, I mean a lot less to do, there wasn't much to do in that game, especially in the end game. We used to do glitch runs and exploring the map, like literally walking around the crafted world that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access, was a great way to enjoy yourself, and I did that. And, you know, going through the cave systems there, going through the mountains of the tundra, and going through the mountains of the volcano, I mean, that was great. I don't remember a glitch for the flooded forest. I don't believe I ever knew of one or performed one. But there were glitches for the deserted island, the tundra, and the volcano. So, yeah, it was good fun. I'm assuming they've made it so you can't do that anymore, which is a shame. I think the reason why they would have, at the very least, prevented it for the deserted island was because they actually, and by they I mean the community, and I was involved in this as well, we actually used it as a way of cheesing World Eater Deviljho. We would shoot each other into the secret area, not the secret area, the glitched area, and then we would stand on a ledge that you would otherwise be unable to access, and shoot World Eater Deviljho mostly from safety. I think he could still do Dragon Breath and hit you, but it wasn't that much of a risk. I mean, we generally just completely shat on him. I didn't do a huge number of World Eater Deviljho runs like that because it took a bit of effort, you know. And one of the reasons why I didn't do it was because I was always the designated pellet shooter. You would use pellet to shoot people up into that, and I was the designated guy because I could do it consistently. You needed to choose a person who could do it consistently because Deviljho fucking spawns there, right? So it's dangerous to have people jump from Area 8 down into Area 5 and have them get shot into the glitch area when World Eater Deviljho is there. So you need a fucking good pellet gunner, and I was one of the few people that could do it consistently because I had spent so much time with people just doing glitch runs for fun and chatting with them. That was, you know, a lot of my endgame in Try. So what that meant was that I very rarely enjoyed shooting from safety myself, so I didn't actually do that strategy all that much. But anyway. What was the quest again? It was another example of me checking the board and then not internalizing what was there. It is 3 Rathalos in quick succession. Very well. These quests are good for getting HRP, so I don't mind doing them. This one's a little boring because I do it fairly frequently, but that's alright. I can live with that. I won't do rapid again. Might bring normal heavy bowgun for a change. When was the last time you saw me use this? Back in the days when I started my random hunt series in this game back in 2015, I used to use this set fairly often. But I don't use it anymore. I've sort of fallen out with bowgun. Well, perhaps not fallen out with it. That's to suggest that there's something very disagreeable about heavy bowgun that I now use as the basis of avoiding it, but it's not really that way. I guess I've just used so much heavy bowgun that I want to give Blade Master a bit more of a shake. That's alright. That's correct. I probably already have the normal shots, and on top of that, I don't store too much in the way of ammunition in my box in this game because I don't have much space. So, there you go. Excuse me. I think normal 3 and normal 2 will be enough. I'll just go with that. I'm not going to bring combination materials for normal 2 for this quest. It'll be over and done with so quickly. Oh, I also don't like the hammer design of Abyssal Lagu. So, with the exception of hammer, gun lance, and switch axe, the Abyssal Lagu crew's weapon designs are some of the best in the series. Really? How do you remember that? Oh yeah, just to illustrate what I was talking about before, to get into the glitch area, see that ledge up there? That's where you used to stand to fight World Eater Deviljho, for example. I can't remember where I actually stood to pellet people. I think I used this as my reference point, and then I'd stand diagonally in relation to that. Somewhere about here, and then I'd, shoot people up there from about here with a pellet gun. So they'd fall down from area 8. And, imagine them falling down, and then you just do that, and then you shoot them up into that area. So, that's how it used to be. The timing was fine. You didn't usually have to do it by sight. You would see when their icon would go from being in area 8 to being in area 5, and then through learning the timing you could just do it right. And yes, the position would slightly change depending on how the person jumped from area 8, but that's where pellet comes in. It has that wide area of effect. So provided you're not standing too close, you're able to launch them in there. But that was, the end game of Try, doing silly things like that. The easiest one to get right was the deserted island area. The volcano and the tundra were much harder to get right, and I wasn't as good with those. There were other people who were much better, and I usually availed myself of their skill to explore the tundra myself. Oh fuck. Well, I don't like being here because I want to hit the head. That's why I'm using normal shots. Here we go, that's a good opportunity. The problem is that body blocking is a problem when you're using a gun like this. Here we go. I'm sure I contributed. This is why I don't need to bring combination materials for normal. Give me a mantle. I'm not going to carve. I don't want to be that guy, but I couldn't be bothered organising my stuff every time. I'll have to do it anyway, I'm sure, but if there's less to organise, then that would be great. I'm slowly approaching maximum Zenny again. It'll be a good opportunity for you to see how easy it is to accumulate funds by selling everything. And I'm not even selling everything, I'm just selling most of what I get. And yeah, that money accumulates pretty quickly, especially in G rank. Perhaps not so much in high rank or low rank, in fact certainly not, but yeah, in G rank, if you decide, well, I want to make some money, just sell everything you get. And you will find that your money problems will disappear. It's much easier doing that than going into your box and selling individual things. I want to be over here. Please knock him. How did he not flinch? I'm an asshole. You can see that I timed the normal shot to coincide with his face going down for the roar, but I had to also shoot before he flinched me out of it. See, now, timing and positioning for the turnaround is something I used to do a little better, but that's alright. That's what happens when you go from being a try-hard to a casual. Here we go. Please don't body block the head. Head's not even broken yet. Tail is, though. And the head is now broken. Well, that was courtesy of my contribution this time. Oh, you poor dragon. It's not your day today, is it? I said that I wouldn't carve, but I'm doing it now. Out of pure habit. I did not make a conscious decision to crouch here and start carving. That is subconscious Doomlink. I was thinking back to... Sometimes I'll just go into dreamland and reminisce in my mind about the past. About this game specifically, and about Try. Because most of what I'm seeing here does, you know, bring back memories. I remember the first time I did the online urgent quest for Rathalos and Rathian here in Area 8. I remember the day I did it. And I don't think I've ever said this before, but when I did that quest, and I've never felt this before or since, but for some reason, I actually felt sorry for them. I genuinely felt sorry for the Rathalos and Rathian for having killed them. I was like, you know, they're mates, and we've just invaded their territory and killed them both. You know, that's a dragon family we've just annihilated, and it's sad. Like that was my feeling on the matter when I completed that urgent quest. That was the urgent quest into high rank, I believe. So the urgent quest into HR 32, I think. And the hunter ranks were very different in Try versus Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G. I don't know how they did it in DOS, because again, I don't have experience with that, but yeah. The maximum hunter rank of Monster Hunter 1 was 20, and the maximum of G was 30. Whereas by comparison in Try, a high rank game, you entered high rank at 32. And then your final HR requirement for a quest was 51, if I remember correctly. That was required for Devil Joe and Elatrion and Gemaran. For the high rank Gemaran, which was only an event quest in that game. I believe it was 52. It could have been 32, but... or maybe even 46. There was a 46 requirement. There was a 46 requirement for the Devil Joe capture quest. That was an event quest, which would give the Lion's Bane The Japanese version of that being the true cutter sword. Lion's Bane is one of my least favourite weapons in the series. Not only is the greatsword not particularly good, but it's just fucking ugly. At least the true cutter sword looks nice. I don't like Lion's Bane, and I don't know, that was someone's weapon submission. The event weapons of Try were the result of art submissions from the community, and so, you know. I will say the following. He draws better than me, but still, ugly weapon. And it sucked, so, you know. I used it a little bit back in Try, but it was shit, so I didn't. It's a bit foggy there. Wait, is that me falling over in the end screen? I think that's me falling over. My legs are in the air, so it can only mean one thing. Look at me, I'm falling over backwards and my gun is crushing me. It looks like my gun is choking me. It's like the sight of the gun has landed on my throat. Well, I don't recall anything so dire taking place, but that snapshot accurately reflects what happened when the last damage was dealt, and yes, yells, that is a Brachydios switch axe, which I do actually have. It's one of the few Brachydios weapons I own. Well, I do have a few actually, come to think of it. And I used few in two different ways. The first was to describe a small number, and the second was to describe a large number. If you can believe it, that word can mean two opposite things, depending on how it's used. Anyway, aside from that, yeah, I've got the sword and shield, the dual blades, the switch axe, and the gun lance. But that's it. The hammer looks very cool. I wouldn't mind having the hammer, but anyway, who posted that last quest? I don't even know. I think it was Tavo, or was it Kirito? Was it Kirito or Tavo? I don't know whose turn it is. I have honestly said that I haven't been keeping track of whose turn it is. So. You think it's Chernobyl? Okay. Well, there he is standing at the quest board going, well, what are we doing? What does he have equipped there? Surely not. No, it's not the... Isn't those ice dual blades from 2nd gen? No, it's... fucking Deus dual blades. I didn't even know they existed, if you can believe me. I'm sure I would have been familiar with their existence in the past, but I had since completely forgotten that there were Deus dual blades. So, that's pretty crazy. Can you forge them outright? I wonder how they compare to the guild sabers, because that's what I use for my water dual blades. How strange that I didn't even know that they existed. Like, yeah, look. Fucking hell. I didn't even know. And again, I'm sure I would have at one time known, but I'd completely forgotten. How strange is that? They look like fucking shit too, because of the terrible resolution from the 3DS version. Well, there you go. You've also got these. This was my... Geez, you've got 3 choices here. I went with the classic choice from 1st gen, but you know, maybe these are better. Maybe I would disagree with the assessment that I had made in the past to craft these. I think what it came down to was that of these 3, this one just seemed to have the best sharpness and raw damage, and I chose to treat water as bonus damage, which really is what you should do at any time when choosing a weapon. You know, focus on raw damage and sharpness, and then, you know, if it's got the element that you want, then that's good. What did he post? Diablos. Why is he bringing a water weapon to a Diablo's hunt? Is it the secondary weakness? I don't even remember. No, it's just regular Diablos. Well, obviously he still needs Diablos, fair enough, but... Fortunately, it's just one. He's learnt his lesson from the past. I'll bring a hunting horn. Seeing as though I don't use that often enough. Frigiguiro. Or Frigiguiro, I don't know. We use the J pronunciation of the G for the word frigid. But if I'm saying guiro, then I probably have to say Frigiguiro. Because why would I change the pronunciation of the G? Furthermore, I don't think the G would be pronounced that way in what I would assume is a Spanish-inspired weapon name. Guiro sounds very Spanish. Or something. I've been informed that it doesn't mean anything in Spanish, but... You know, you have made-up names that are inspired by languages. There's plenty of made-up names that are inspired by English that you can tell are inspired by the English language. But this is definitely not inspired by the English language. Since when does anyone say Guiro? Yeah, Guiro, come over here, man. ¿Qué pasó, man? That's not fucking English, so... If anyone thinks it is, then I'm sorry. Now, I need to remember how to play the frickin' attack up song. Here we go. Now, what's my... That's not the note that I want. This is the note that I want. I'm going to focus on playing the song if you don't mind. I'm a corner horner. Fucking Jesus! Okay, I think I know what it is then. Must go like this. Okay, well, apparently I remembered it incorrectly. Oh, well, suck me off. It was actually the other way around. I'm so inept. This is why I'm corner horning, guys. Forgive me. Alright, now I need self-improvement. Notice how I improve the team before I improve myself? There's a reason. It's because the effectiveness of the horn that I'm using is directly proportionate to the damage of the team. And needless to say, it should be my priority to boost... Stop. Stop playing nothing, you fuck. That's not what I intended to do. But yeah, boosting the damage of the team is the priority. Very obviously. Now I need to play more self-improvement so that I may have Mind's Eye. This is not working in my favor at all because I'm about to... Well, I was about to... Shit! Yes, this is a barrier of hunting horn. Don't interrupt my self-improvement. Good. Well, I don't know why you're now choosing to use a sonic bomb. Now would be an appropriate time. I'm not especially interested in the other skills that I can play with this hunting horn because I want to actually get in there and contribute now. Oh, you've just lost your chance to do a sonic bomb, unfortunately, but that's alright. Don't throw it again. Stop, don't do it, man. Alright. He's learned his lesson. I'd like to get a KO. I don't think I've got Knockout King on this. As far as I am aware, I do not have Knockout King. No, I have Stamina Thief though, which is good. Stamina Thief is great in conjunction with KO damage, obviously. I mean, come on. Need to reposition here. There you go, there's the KO. And hoping that Stamina Thief will come through, we might have an exhausted Diablos very soon. There we go. There go the horns. Things are looking up for Chernobyl. I'll probably need to top up the old attack up large. Now don't interrupt me. Stop. I know how you operate. It's because I'm playing the song that you're coming after me. I know all about it. Well, I've lost my bonus, but at least the damage of the team is being boosted to some degree. There you go. Nice work. Anyone have a flash bomb? That would be the next best thing. Hey, very good. I'm in need of sharpening, but that's alright. Hey, that would no doubt be the slime contributing to that. Because I believe if a slime explosion goes off on the head, it does create KO damage. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. But it sort of felt like that was not me alone who achieved a second KO. Because, you know, I've got KO build up, but not that much KO build up. To get 2 KOs in that time would be hard to achieve. Given the diminishing returns. Given the diminishing returns. I think that's what I said, anyway. Someone's going for a capture, I think. Could be a plan. Yeah, slime might not contribute to KO. Nope. It was a good attempt to try and capture him before he could go to the sleeping area, but that's okay. Tavo's unimpressed by that. Well, nice work. Good night, Diablos. That was a good hunt. That worked out rather well. Might use a bit more Hunting Horn. Because, again, I've been neglecting to use Hunting Horn. There's at least one person who watches my recordings who very much gets off on me using Hunting Horn. They comment every time in the VOD, they say, yes, more Hunting Horn. Which really should encourage me to use it more frequently, but it's not because I actively avoid pleasuring that person by using it, it's just, you know, I don't even think to do it. Switch Axe and Hunting Horn are not actively and intentionally avoided, I just don't even think about them. But it's unfair of me to put Hunting Horn and Switch Axe in the same category. I much prefer Hunting Horn to Switch Axe. It's more dynamic, and actually serves a purpose. I couldn't say the same about Switch Axe, so, yeah. Oh, but you can transform into 2 different modes, Doomlink. Can you? Well, that's news to me. I thought you just used sword mode and nothing else. No, I get it. You can't literally only use sword mode because you'll run out of charge, but why would I use axe mode? Anyway. Axe mode is only used as a means to get to sword mode. Which maybe isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I suppose the opposite is also the case for Charge Blade, you know? You're usually in sword mode to build up into axe mode for Charge Blade, so I don't know. Not necessarily a bad thing. Well, I suppose it's my turn, is it? What shall we do? Nerves of Steel. Could be fun. Oh, I thought I was looking at the same quest twice, but no, one of them is 2 steel and the other is regular and steel. I think I'd rather do 2 steel. Let's do 2 steel Uragan. Two S Uragan. Do I have a water hunting horn? I don't think I do. I can't think of anything that would be a water hunting horn that I own. So I likely do not have one. What that would mean is that I don't have a hunting horn that I would be able to achieve attack up large with, whilst also dealing water damage. This does not have attack up large, but it's still a good hunting horn. It has defense up large, negate stamina use large, and health recovery medium, so it's pretty good. Inter alia as well, because there are other abilities that it possesses, but those are the most notable ones. Yes, I agree, Vernon. I think we've established, at least between the two of us, that Switch Axe really doesn't deserve to exist in a world where Charge Blade exists. But there are people who will really disagree with that point. And you probably will never be able to convince them of anything other than the opinion that they hold, which is fine. Because to be honest, it's not going to negatively impact my ability to enjoy the game if other people are using Switch Axe. That's the reality of it, so it doesn't bother me if people enjoy it. Good, I was just making sure I didn't have my switch crop in effect. The switch crop on this game, basically the switch does not run in perfect 16:9 ratio. Because it's the Switch and Nintendo don't give a fuck. But, yeah, it doesn't end up being especially noticeable if I have my switch crop in effect for this game. The reason why it needs to be cropped is because while it does produce perfect 16:9, it does so with a border around it. Like there will be a grey border to achieve 16:9. It's stupid. It's like, what am I doing? Am I playing on a console from the previous decade or what? Well, the previous decade was the 2010s, which is when it came out. But I mean, you know, the decade before then. See, I'm still using terminology that is non-applicable for what I'm seeking to explain. We're in the 2020s now, Doomlink. We're in the third year of the 2020s. It's time to get up to date. Seriously. This guy is engaging in some intense preparation. At least he's elementally appropriate now. Liking that ice res plus 15, that's going to really... What's going on? Well, that's alright. People have different journeys when it comes to learning how to make an armor set. He is presumably about 200 hours, maybe 250 hours into the game and he's still unsure, but it's alright. It's also perfectly possible that he just has shit talismans. I shouldn't start having a go at him, but... yeah. Nerves of Steel. Incidentally, I'd rather be using this hunting horn than the Tarnbril Demolisher at this stage. And the reason why is not just because I'm not in the mood to deal slime damage, it is also because Uragan, I believe whether it's standard or steel, will take significant damage from poison. Regard the red-chinned brute wyvern. 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 That's an old habit. I will start off with self-improvement because there's no point playing songs for one other guy. I will wait until everyone's here first. We'll start off with no stamina loss. We do have a dual blades user who will no doubt receive great benefits from that. It is that. Oh, I got it wrong. There you go. I'm doing this on the lava. Now, can I extend the duration by encoring it? I would have learnt this a long time ago, but I've since forgotten. I can. Okay. Brilliant. That was actually against my expectations, so I'm glad that I gave it a try. Also, defense boost large. Which, what does it end on? It ends on purple. That is a very standard sequence of notes, actually. It's been the standard for defense up large for a long time. Well, we've got a pitfall trap here, apparently. Okay, well, I'll tell you what goes against that standard. Well, it doesn't matter especially. Oh, I forgot to bring deodorant. I was actually wanting to bring some, and I still forgot. Usually I just don't even think about it. But this time I did think about it and still forgot to bring it. So at this stage, I have no real excuse. I know it looks like I'm missing every one of these, but lag compensation will presumably, as you can see, deal the KO. Now, that would not have been possible unless I was successfully hitting the head by way of lag compensation with every attack. So, that's one of the benefits to online play. Okay. Oh, hello. Well, I was going to say we need to paintball the one we have been fighting, but that's no longer necessary because we can differentiate between the two of them by way of broken chin visage. Let's now chase him. Looks like, I would imagine it was Tavo who paintballed, because he's the only one outside of myself who would immediately seek to differentiate the two monsters, because he would have good instincts. The other two, I don't know if they do much thinking. I don't know, I don't want to speak negatively of Kirito. It would be a little bit prejudiced to make an assumption based on the name he's chosen for his character. In the case of Chernobyl, I speak based on personal experience with having hunted with him. But you know, everyone is redeemable, and I need to stop, you know, negatively... Oh, he is dead already. That was very nicely done. The team's doing well. And I can't sit here and say that that was purely because I was assisting the team, because there was no attack up large given to anyone there. So that was pretty good, all things considered. Of course I did contribute by knocking out the monster, but still, damage-wise I can't imagine I would have done all that much. I will now... Well, actually I will top up the defense once everyone is here. I guess they're carving, yeah. I will wait until everyone is ready to receive the benefits of defense up large before playing it. It is purely a matter of coincidence that I have the notes queued up here. I didn't intentionally play these. Whoa, look at the fucking connection. Maybe that's a result of everyone entering at the same time. And by everyone I mean 2 people. Stop it. Fuck off, man. Almost played it too. It's very close. Alright, no stamina loss. It's this. No, I think, yeah, other way around. Fucking hell. At least I think so. I was right. I will top up defense up large in fighting the monster normally, rather than strictly focusing on buffs. Oh, speaking of buffs, I do need to strictly fucking improve myself. Kirito is committed to standing behind that. Fuck off, man. I do incidentally need attacks harder to break. I'm fighting an Urugan. Stupid Uroktor. I will actually reset the timer by playing defense up large again, which is a good thing. Can actually be beneficial to delay the bonus for that reason. Oh, that could have been bad. Tabo Show and I have to be wary of each other. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't me solely who contributed to the KO in the last hunt. We do have Tabo here. Oh, fucking hell. Do have Tabo contributing to that also. Probably more than I am. Hopefully you get poisoned soon. I don't think that was me, I think that was Tavo. Anyway. Looking good though. May even kill him here. The damage really starts to come out when the chin breaks. Yep. Had a feeling. There goes Chernobyl. I wonder which switch axe bastard did that to Chernobyl. I suppose I do have an inherent dislike of Switch Axe and Switch Axe players from my experience in Tri. Back when Switch Axe first came out, you better believe people were being upswung constantly. Because people always wanted to get to the infinite axe drop, and how do you do that? By upswinging. So people would, without any consideration for where they were in relation to their fellow hunters, would do the upswing to get into the infinite axe drop, and then you were stuck flying through the air. One of the best things that Capcom ever did was allow you to attack out of an upswing. Not only can you at least get a hit out while flying through the air, you have that quick recovery time. By landing on the ground, you can almost immediately move. If you're upswung in all games prior to 4th gen, you're stuck in this animation that takes like 5 seconds to resolve, perhaps even longer. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. It's not something I'd necessarily blame Capcom for. I think it's appropriate. What it should do is encourage hunters to take greater care with their positioning. But it very rarely serves to do that because a lot of Monster Hunter players are both inconsiderate and inept. Chernobyl has left, without so much as a goodbye. Fortunately, I wasn't really in search of one. It's Tavo's turn to post. I hope we don't get any more arena quests. Tavo, I posted that one. What's Tavo saying? Is it a question or a statement? The Lucent Naga is viable for 3 players. Wouldn't really use the word viable, I'd say. Would it be a sensible choice given the limited damage of 3? I'd say yeah. Lucent Naga Cougar isn't on par health or difficulty wise with the likes of G-Rank Elatrion or something like that. G-Rank Elatrion I would take exception to hunting with 3 people, but still, I could do it. I'd probably be willing to do it, but yeah. What is my Awaken Ice Lands? Assuming I have one, I'm pretty sure I do. It's the Idian Crown. I don't want to use that, I don't think. Actually, no, I will. I will use it, because I haven't fought Lucent Nagakuga with any of my Awakened Lancers or Gun Lancers, so I may as well greet Lucent Nagakuga with one of my options. I don't think I have an Awakened Ice Gun Lance, though, do I? I don't know. I suppose viable is fine to use in that context. Is it a viable option given the situation? I suppose that would be fine. Yeah, of course it's doable. Bloody easy. He doesn't have that much health. He just has a tendency to be annoying. What's going on with you? I like how the chef just allows you to cook, choose ingredients that taste like shit. I mean, the chef would know. The chef would be like, oh, this guy's gonna get a mouthful of shit. But that's what he chose, not my fault. He's paid for it. The chef's an asshole. This may be my last hunt. I've already gone over 3 hours. I don't have a time limit. But I may have other things that I want to do today, so I think I would prefer to wrap things up soon. Yeah, I can just jump straight in. There is no real preparation for me. See, I can never get a fucking paintball on this asshole. I think it's because of the perspective of the exclamation mark. It looks closer than it actually is. Either that or he very quickly moves himself away from you. I would have liked to have gone into a shield bash, but I was being a bit too defensive in that moment. You fucker! Literally because of your mindless strategy. Well, maybe it's not mindless. He wasn't going to get hit by the roar himself, but it would have been so much better for me to counter that roar and then immediately go into attacking. But no, I just ended up on my hands and knees instead, thanks to him. Oh well, that's what it means to hunt online. Can't always complain about it. Sometimes you just have to live with it. I actually wouldn't have been able to shield in time for that, so that was an incredibly well timed flinch to have me avoid getting hit. Fuck. Yes, this is the only game where Lucent Nagakuga appears. So he's a good quest to do when playing 3 Ultimate, while recording it, because it's actually a fairly unique thing. Trying to hit that fucking tail. Yeah, I'm actually not a huge fan of Lance on this monster. Just to put that on record. I didn't actually mean to shield bash that time. I wasn't so foolish as to, under those circumstances, eliminate my ability to block a possible follow-up attack. But I guess I must have accidentally double-tapped the X button. Unfortunately, the face of the Nagakuga is pretty hard, so I can't hit it without bouncing with white sharpness, so I have to aim for the next best thing. There's another flash bomb. Does the hardness of the head change at all, depending on whether he's enraged or not? Yes, it seems that when non-enraged, he doesn't bounce off the head. Unless I thought that I'd hit the head and I'd actually hit the wing before. What is going on? I'm not intending to shield bash there. It must just be automatically fast-forwarding my intended input if I accidentally press the button twice in one motion. Valerie has visited the port. Well, I'll do one more quest so that Valerie's not waiting for nothing. Basically, I couldn't be bothered explaining to Valerie that I'm going to close the room. So, therefore, I'm going to give Valerie one quest with us. So at least she's not waiting for nothing. I'm glad I had the stamina to block the poison spike that came out. Just in case my positioning was poor there. You'd be surprised how drastically Nagakuku can reposition just by jumping like that. Especially considering that large tail hitbox. Maybe the head is not well armored after all. I thought it was, but I must have... Oh no, I'm now at purple sharpness, so... whatever. Yeah, it is armored. Interesting, isn't it? See, I knew that instinctively, but I wasn't actively cognizant of the fact that his head was armored differently when non-enraged versus when enraged. That was me hitting the wing. Yeah, that's interesting. Again, I say I knew it instinctively because I possibly wouldn't, in fact I know I wouldn't have automatically assumed that without having some vague memory serving as a basis for making the assumption that there was a difference in the head armoring dependent upon the mode of the monster. Because that is a little unusual. I don't think there are many examples of that. So I don't think I would have assumed it. I would have assumed that I had mistakenly hit the wing. And if you notice, I did actually momentarily consider that to be a possibility. Oh, I actually misjudged my positioning there. I thought I was about to get hit by a tail, but it actually went above my head. That was one of the rare occasions where I was able to reap some benefit from being flinched by the longsword guy. Unfortunately, the timing... the reason why I couldn't... Oh, come on, Valerie. Don't be so fucking lazy. I mean, you're playing in a community where you just have to fucking wait sometimes. Seriously. You just have to fucking wait. Deal with it. If you do have other options, then fair enough, but I have a sneaking suspicion... Oh my god. Because I bounced, I couldn't do a follow-up counter. Yeah, if we see Valerie return, then... Come on. Ow. Okay, thanks, Kitty Tom. At least I don't have to worry about bouncing at this point. Because he has gone into his rage mode. I'll sharpen up. I'm not dealing with blue sharpness. Not with this monster. Okay. I'll advance into the back so that I'm not bouncing off the wing or anything like that, and then, well, into the back legs. I was hoping to actually avoid the tail by going underneath him there. You can actually avoid the tail hitbox by doing that. You'll find that the attack that he does there has a very specific hitbox range. You're not just automatically hit if you're close to him when he does that. It is very heavily focused on the tail, and it's not that wide. So sometimes by going close to him, you can go under the tail hitbox. It's a perfectly acceptable strategy. But it didn't work out for me there. There you go. Head opportunity. Ugh. Good. Not much of a head opportunity, but... There you go. That will make things a little easier. I'm not taking any chances with that tail. If I'm unsure as to precisely where it's going to land, it's better to play defensively. Ugh. He does have a lot more health than a normal Nagakuga, but again, 3 people can get it done. You do sort of have to wait there for a little while after successfully guarding, even with guard +2, which is fine, I can live with that. Ugh, fucking switch axe! If it were any other weapon type, I wouldn't be so frustrated by it. Oh my god, fucking armored head. No more armored head. You know what caused that? Ooh, you know what caused that? It was me shield advancing with an attempt to shield advance through the roar, but I was in red stamina when I was to be resisting the roar with said shield. And, yeah. If you're in red stamina, you're not blocking anything, sadly. And it should be that way. Can you believe that I was caught in that hitbox? That is some second gen shit right there. That is disgusting. I can't believe it. Valerie didn't return, so maybe there was another option for her. In which case, I suppose I shouldn't just automatically decry her behavior, but still, I hate it when people are just not willing to wait. In this community where there are so few options. There you go. About 10 minutes. Certainly not an unreasonable length of time. And Kirito is holding his own, so... yeah, nothing wrong with that. Did I just carve a Nagakuga mantle? I did. It's not quite what I want. I've got plenty of Nagakuga mantles, I'll tell you that much. As for Cloudy Moon Shards, I may have one extra, even now. No, I think I may have used it. I think I used it for... Nagakuga... Lucent Nagakuga something. It was one of my awakened weapons. Must have been... was it Gunlance? I don't think that requires awakened to get the poison. No, perhaps it does. I don't even remember, but the point is that I did use one recently. That might have been the only one that I had. I've picked up maybe 4 Cloudy Moon Shards. They're very hard to get. They're one of the hardest rares to get in the game. That's what I've found. Abyssal Lagiacruz Dynamos. I mean, look at that. I get 3 mantles, but no Cloudy Moon Shard. That should give you an idea of how hard it is. That's the degree to which a person's going to suffer in pursuing the acquisition of a Cloudy Moon Shard. So yeah, Dynamos and Cloudy Moon Shards, those are the hardest to get. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with fucking 30 Nagakuga mantles. So, yeah. $2,700 HRP, not too bad. It is considered an endgame quest. I will do another hunt. I said I would, even though the reason for me doing another one has essentially departed. Oh, sorry, 31. Yeah, I'll do another one, why not? And if we do get a 4th joining while we're in a quest, then I will take the time to explain to them that I shall be closing the room, so that they're not waiting for nothing. I've had that happen before. You would think that that would be standard practice. If you are the room host and you intend to close the room, and a 4th guy joins while you're in a hunt, you'd think you'd explain to them, wouldn't you? That you're going to close the room, so that person shouldn't be waiting for nothing. You know, on multiple occasions, I have waited, you know, upwards of 10 minutes, sometimes even 15 minutes depending on the hunt, and depending on the timing, of me joining in relation to them departing. I have had, you know, situations where the room will just be closed without anything being said. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. That's what goes on. That is the lack of consideration that is endemic to this community. I've seen it frequently. Yeah, I'll bring a hammer. I do have an Awakened Dragon Hammer as the ports mark. They changed it to Awakened Water in 4th gen, but it's Awakened Dragon here and I'll fucking use it. It's fun. And I think yeah, look at this set. Fucking nice. I can actually give myself a Part Breaker with the double slot. So high grade earplugs, Part Breaker, Awakened Sharpness +1 and Knockout King. That is a fucking good set for this game. Like, that is clean. One of the best, in fact. You can get better ones, I've seen better ones. But those do require extremely good talismans that are extremely hard to get, that have good points in 2 useful skills. Not easy. The people who have those talismans are the people who have spent a lot of time mining, or a lot of time doing quests that give good charms. Which is usually the end game G-rank quests, like, you know, I think Elatrion's pretty good for time-worn charms. Just stuff like that, you know. Quests that give good time-worns. And even then, it's pretty hard to get something decent. Time-worn charms, and again, when was the last time any of you have seen me get a charm where I'm like, hey, that's actually really good? I don't have a recent memory of that. And I'm constantly appraising time-worn charms, constantly. So that'll give you an idea. That's without actually actively seeking good talismans. Imagine specifically mining for them. Can you comprehend how frustrating it would be to spend that much time mining just to get nothing? And I'm on a good charm table. Someone's going to say, oh, what, are you on a cursed table, Doomlink? No, I'm not. I'm on a good charm table. I'm on one of the best for, I think, dual blades and sword and shield. So good sharpness skills, good stamina skills, probably expert as well. But still nothing. I get crap. But you can tell that there's a limited pool that you're drawing from. You can tell. Because that's the nature of the charm tables. You are not getting a full range of choices. So, I can't remember which charm table it is. I seem to have the number 6 in my head, but I could be wrong. I don't want to put the number 6 out there and have someone look at charm table 6 and go, oh no, this one's shit, Doomlink. Well, it might not be 6, okay? But I seem to have that number in my head. It was rather foolish of me to do what was needed to actually find out what the charm table was, and then rely on memory after that point. I never wrote it down, but I guess the reason why I checked the charm table in the first place was so that I could see if I was on a cursed table. When I realized that I wasn't on a cursed table and I was in fact on a pretty decent one, that's all I ultimately needed to know. Because I can't change my table. I don't really care about the deep details of the table, because I can't change it, and quite frankly, if I'm not on a cursed table, then I'm happy. So, there you go. Cursed tables are tables that just give terrible talismans. There's no real chance of getting very good 2-skill talismans, and they're just bad. The fact that Capcom thought it was appropriate to put some people on a cursed table permanently for their whole playthrough, that is just shocking to me. Absolutely shocking that they thought that was a good idea. It's disgusting. It's one thing to give everyone a chance at a good table, but then, you know, not change the table, thus limiting their options. That was a very good flash bomb. Thus limiting their options. That's bad enough already, but imagine intentionally, and I'm assuming it's intentional, because how can they fuck up so hard that that's a mistake? How can they intentionally put people on cursed tables? I've said this before, but you know, you can look at it in one of two ways. Either it is impossible for them to have done it intentionally because it's such a terrible decision and so illogical, or you could say that there's no way they did it accidentally because how could you fuck up that hard and not even try to fix it? How could you release the game as a finished game with such a fundamental flaw? This was the third game to have talismans. Charm tables have always existed. Always. Since, you know, the advent of talismans. It's just they existed not related to character creation, but rather related to the session that you were in. Every time you would log in, you were on a different table. And that would be dependent upon the console time. The same thing is the case now, but it's dependent upon console time when creating your character, for fuck's sake. Not for when you log in. It's unbelievable. I don't know if Tavo threw a dung bomb, but I'm glad that fucking Rathalos is gone. It's going to make the quest a lot easier. Oh, almost got it. Look, he's back. Fucking hell, he doesn't stay gone for long. Good night. I don't think the Portsmark has purple sharpness, does it? It does. Well, this is a fucking good weapon, then. I always thought the Portsmark wasn't that great, but it's okay. Anything that has purple sharpness is workable, no matter what. I'm sorry, Tavo. We're both going hammer. It's not a good thing. Now that I realise that you're using hammer, I mean, I would have seen that you had a hammer, but I didn't actually commit it to my conscious mind. Now that I've really understood that, I will do whatever I can to avoid you. I do not regret doing that, Kirito, because you've upswung me before. Or perhaps he hasn't, but I did see him upswinging someone else. So he can get a taste of his own medicine. I'm a bit low on stamina, but that's okay. The quest isn't going to go on for too long. I'm a bit out of practice to be doing turnaround golf swings, but can't blame a guy for trying. Well, not a bad attempt on that flash bomb, but it was a bit too far underneath him. I could be on charm table 4, yeah. 4 sounds right too. Yeah, it probably is 4. Yeah, I think it is 4. Hey, it was good. We were both on the same side of the head, yet we were both able to get our KO damage out without hitting each other. That's pretty good. Generally, one person would have to go on one side and then the other person would have no choice but to go to the other side, lest they either hit the other guy or get hit themselves. Which is bad for everyone, because the lower the DPS of the team, the worse the hunt's gonna go. Clearly. Well, Tavo's connection is pretty bad. Are you seeing that? That was like playing online in Monster Hunter 1 on the emulator bad. And that's bad. Ow. I've used a lot of Mega Potions, unless I didn't stock up from the previous hunt, but I think I would have. Oh, stop it. I thought I was in range of that. Had to delay my roll there. I'm glad I was able to. Sometimes if you leave it for too long, you won't be able to roll at all. That's why sometimes you're forced to roll too soon to be able to evade something. Like if you have conducted an attack, sometimes you have a limited window in which to roll out of that, which can be problematic for timing, obviously, because if you leave it too long, you can't roll at all, and if you do it too early, you obviously miss the timing. But fortunately, they were very lenient with the timing there. Fuck off. You know what? I've had enough of you today, Azure Rathalos. I had enough of you a long time ago, yet here I am. Still better than having to do Golden Rathian and Silver Rathalos in fucking Generations Ultimate, but still, like, doesn't mean I'm having fun here. Asshole monster. Let's get out of the fucking air. Oops. Wasn't really what I wanted to do. Unsurprisingly, because Rathalos is the king of... that's very tenacious of you. But yeah, in typical Rathalos style, all he does is fucking prolong the hunt. That's all he does. It's all he's ever done. It's very annoying. Not bad. I've seen worse flinches. Wow, says Rathalos. Just in case you couldn't hear. He was going, wow. And he did it again. That little stub of a tail just hit me. It probably hurt to get hit in the face by that. It's closer to the main body, so one would imagine that it would have greater force. Yeah, my stamina's not very good for hammer right now, but I must live with it. How the fuck am I bouncing on an Azure Rathalos with white sharpness? What is going on with that? That's not okay at all. I actually did not know that there was anything on a Silver Rathalos. Actually, it might be because of impact damage. It would be rather different with cutting. That's the thing. Sometimes impact, for fairly obvious reasons, because it's a blunt weapon, will bounce much more easily than a cutting weapon. Cutting will indeed cut through the armor, whereas impact just bounces off it sometimes. It depends on the monster, the level of the monster, and where you're hitting. So, yeah, there's no catch-all explanation, but oh goodness, that was a long session. With only tea as a beverage. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I do prefer to have some sort of alcoholic beverage accompanying me, but it's not a requirement. Just a preference. There we go. Didn't HR up there, unfortunately, but that's fine. Alright, I think that's going to conclude this recording. That was about 3 hours and 40 minutes of live stream. Bordering upon 4 hours, but I don't really want to go that far. Yeah, I'll see you all when I'm next recording. I don't think I'll do a recording tomorrow. I may do one on Monday, we'll see. Well, tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday for some of you. But, anyway. Tomorrow is Saturday for some of you, excuse me. It doesn't matter. The point is that Monday for me might be Sunday for you. There's a time difference. That is the nature of the world in which we live. I thank you all for watching. I shall bid you all farewell for now, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.